of maternal mortality in Missouri? The answer is coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Intervals of clouds and sunshine today. Very warm and humid. Look for a shower and thunderstorm this afternoon. The high 90s. Severe thunderstorms tonight.
And with Debbie Monterrey, I'm Tom Ackerman. Sports on the way at 6:15. Michael McGreevy on his birthday gives the Cardinals exactly what they need. It's in 15 minutes.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The U.S. and Iran exchanging airstrikes overnight. The United States hitting what it says were military strikes. Iran targeting Gulf Coast countries, including Bahrain, home to the Navy's Fifth Fleet. Maine Senate Democrat Graham Plattner stepping aside in the Senate race. Here's ABC's Jay O'Brien.
Plattner had gone underground since a former girlfriend accused him of sexual assault, which he denies.
This is incredibly difficult because I know that some will think it's an admission of guilt, and it most certainly is not.
Now the Maine State Democratic Party accusing Plattner of essentially holding them hostage by demanding a say in who takes his place on the ballot.
The death toll from the Venezuelan earthquakes now stands at more than 3,800, but thousands are still missing. Bonnie Tyler, whose chart-topping Total Eclipse of the Heart has over 1 billion streams, has died. She was 75. She had been hospitalized in Portugal. This is ABC News. Federal safety regulators are warning self-driving car companies to fix a growing problem: autonomous vehicles interfering with first responders during emergencies. Here's ABC's Dave Packer.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is telling self-driving vehicle developers to improve the way their cars respond to emergency scenes. The agency says it's documented cases where autonomous vehicles drove into active incidents, blocked ambulances and fire trucks, or failed to recognize flashing lights, traffic cones, smoke, and other warning signs. The agency says those failures put both first responders and the public at risk. Officials plan to meet with autonomous vehicle developers later this month to hear how they plan to solve the problem. Dave Packer, ABC News.
Another heat dome on the way for another part of the country. The Southeast will soon see triple-digit heat indexes. Charleston, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia could be looking at heat indexes today up to 115 degrees. I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
We have humidity here in St. Louis. We're not going to get that hot, though, but it will be warm, 90 degrees for our high with a heavy thunderstorm this afternoon. I'm Tom Ackerman.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. The NAACP believes St. Louis City's proposed data center bill has flaws.
St. Louis City NAACP President Adolphus Pruitt says the biggest flaw he finds in the bill is it doesn't put the power of approving future data centers in the hands of the people living closest to them.
It does not give the residents whom these data centers can be located next to the ability to say yes or no, just like we do on a liquor license.
Pruitt also says the bill makes it too difficult to build a data center in the city and would like to see requirements that their operators fund workforce development and training. The Board of Aldermen will hold special sessions to allow the bill to receive a final vote during summer recess. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Tonight, O'Fallon, Missouri will once again take up the topic of banning new apartment complexes for a year. The idea is to provide the city with time to study how new construction would impact schools, traffic, and infrastructure. O'Fallon originally considered the ban in the winter, but it ultimately failed. St. Charles County recently passed a 6-month ban, but only for unincorporated parts of the county.
The remains of a child were found last night in a wooded area of the Metro East after a days-long search. It was a multi-jurisdictional effort. St. Louis Police Lieutenant Colonel Renee Kreisman says the discovery came after a tip led investigators to Stuckey Township.
Earlier this week, law enforcement officials learned a child may be buried in a rural wooded area of the Stuckey Township in Illinois, approximately 16 miles southeast of St. Louis. After an extensive search led by many agencies, the remains were found today.
The remains were found on private property in an area so remote, crews required heavy equipment and an ATV to reach it. The case began as a parental abduction investigation in St. Louis.
Did St. Louis County get its first heat death of the summer right? The family of 89-year-old Richard Avalone says no. As we've reported, the county medical examiner ruled the retired Ladue attorney's July 3rd death was heat-related, but his wife Carolyn tells the Post-Dispatch that he fell at the top of the stairs, that his bedroom air conditioner was running, and that the room was about 77 degrees when she found him. The Post says the county hasn't responded to questions about his body temperature or the room conditions at the time of his death.
There are calls for a more transparent investigation into the July 4th weekend shooting of 2 teenagers by police. We get more from KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
The Ethical Society of Police, the trade organization representing black police officers in the city, says an officer fired multiple rounds into a car full of teens during a crowd that was throwing fireworks near police vehicles in Spanish Lake over the weekend. The union is questioning whether the car was moving toward or away from the officer when he fired. A boy and a girl were shot. They remained in the hospital to start the week. A third teenager was hit by broken glass and treated, released at the scene. The county prosecutor's office says it will review the case once police complete their investigation.
A last-minute scramble saved the 4th of July fireworks in Webster Groves. The city's original vendor suddenly backed out the day before the holiday. Parks and Recreation staff worked with police and fire departments to hire a new vendor from Richland, Missouri in fewer than 24 hours.
We had a behind-the-scenes victory that deserves a standing ovation.
Councilmember Jamie Hassmeyer praised the city staff.
We saved the 4th of July, folks. Pulling off a spectacular show in less than 3 days is nothing short of a 4th of July miracle.
Now, the city council is not letting the original vendor off the hook. Members voted this week to file a lawsuit against AM Pyrotechnics for breach of contract.
Families packed a St. Louis Public Schools workshop last night, weighing in on 3 district-wide models before leaders finalize a plan. That could mean new buildings, new bus routes, or different grade groupings for some kids. In one small group session captured by Fox 2, a parent said the right plan has to work for families.
Which one of the plans gives the kids the most incentive to come to school and gives the parents the most incentive to get them there? And maybe pre-K through 8 is the answer because they can just, somebody mentioned it earlier, just drop everybody off all at one school and then go to work. I don't know.
Families at the workshop said safety, attendance, and transportation should carry the most weight in the district's decision. A recommendation is expected later this month.
The historic Soulard neighborhood is looking into the future on Sunday. Neil Putz with the Soulard Restoration Group says they're burying a time capsule to be opened in 100 years. Where will it be buried?
Soulard Station. So that name implies a lot. It actually was a filling station or a gasoline station on Route 66. It's at the intersection of Gravois Avenue and Tucker Boulevard, which becomes 12th Street in Soulard.
While the Soulard Market dates back to the 1830s, the neighborhood around it wasn't officially Soulard until the state recognized the Soulard Restoration Group on July 12, 1976.
It is 6:07. We'll take a break here and have traffic and weather for you coming up. Stay with us here on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician.
I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes.
So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales. And voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. Taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder. But our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have a health reminder from the CDC.
Pneumococcal vaccination is recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose. And millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's going on 6:10, so if you are just getting ready to head out for the day, let's see if there will be any problems you may encounter. Roger Brand's keeping his eye on things from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, for the most part, there shouldn't be, Debbie. In fact, everything got picked up since we last spoke, where the delays were consistently getting better, and now they're gone. So there are no longer any issues. North 270, Manchester up to 64, the overnight roadwork picked up, and both ramps, they picked up the westbound ramp from 64 to North 270 first, and now the eastbound one's picked up and reopened as well. So everything back to normal there. Of course, there's still the round-the-clock restrictions on 270 between 64 and Ladue, but the temporary stuff we had overnight that caused the delays, everything is gone. Everything's also cleared out westbound 70 between Wentzville and David Hochul Parkways. They are on the scene with a crash, though. They did call out for EMS. It's a single vehicle wreck on the ramp from westbound 70 onto eastbound 64, that Cloverleaf ramp in Wentzville. I believe that ramp is shut down right now. The car had heavy front end damage, and they're waiting for a tow truck, so you may find restrictions there. And they reported a crash westbound 44 near the Bowles exit right around the Miraz overpass, but it must be on the shoulder, because I was looking at westbound 44 just a moment ago, and everything's on the go there, and everything's on the go on the rest of these area interstates, even in the construction zone so far this Thursday morning. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Clouds and some sunshine today. Very warm and humid. Watch out for a shower and thunderstorm, though, during the afternoon hours. The high 90. In fact, thunderstorms late today and tonight could be severe. Warm and sticky with a couple of thunderstorms tonight. Damaging winds, hail, and flooding downpours, all a possibility. The low tonight, 74. Clouds, limited sun, warm and quite humid tomorrow with a shower and thunderstorm, high 85. Saturday, mostly cloudy, sticky. A shower and thunderstorm left over, the high 85. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, a partly cloudy sky, 73 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 6:12, and prosecutors will have to prove intent in the trial of a man accused of severely injuring a police officer during a 2024 Ferguson protest. Elijah Gant is accused of multiple charges, including rioting and first-degree assault. Officer Travis T.J. Brown was reportedly knocked to the ground by Gant and suffered debilitating head injuries.
KMOX legal analyst Brad Young points out it's not enough that Gant caused severe injury to Officer Brown.
Not just that it was an accident, not that he was just fleeing the scene, didn't see Brown and knocked him down, but they being the prosecutors have to prove that Gant knowingly attempted to cause physical injury or harm. And that's a very high bar to meet.
Gant's trial is set for July 20th. Officer Brown returned to St. Louis this spring after months in an out-of-state rehabilitation facility. He relies on a wheelchair and has limited speech.
The Teamsters have been on strike against Breakthrough Beverage for more than 2 months, and union leaders tell KMOX the standoff is starting to leave local liquor store shelves empty. Jim Barrett with Local 688 says area bars and retailers are feeling the supply chain squeeze.
We see the effect in the stores. The shelves are very obvious to us, and we've seen, but what we get a lot on the strike line, too, is people coming by and reporting to us that they are not taking orders. A lot of local bars.
Breakthrough Beverage handles local distribution for several major brands, including Jim Beam, Maker's Mark, and Yingling. The union and the distributor have not met at the bargaining table since early June.
As Missouri's investigation into ESPN draft analyst Matt Miller continues, investigators are focusing on subscriber complaints. Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway tells Missouri Net investigators are determining the full scope of the allegations.
In this case, I don't want to be overly specific, but obviously if people are complaining about camps, about fantasy football leagues, about charities.
Miller, a Joplin native, was seriously injured in a June 17th crash in southwest Missouri's Jasper County that resulted in the amputation of his left arm. Hanaway says the investigation remains active and no charges have been filed.
St. Louis City SC has launched its first Special Olympics team.
St. Louis City SC midfielder Daniel Edelman joined City Unified for training this week as the club prepares for its inaugural season in partnership with Special Olympics Missouri. For Edelman, spending time with the athletes was much more than about soccer.
It just feels so good to come out and to see them outside and embracing a sport that can be played by various cultures and bring everyone together. It's limitless soccer. Being here today, seeing these kids really share a passion and a common goal, it's so exciting and a privilege for me.
City Unified opens its season against Sporting KC's Unified team on July 16th before First Team City SC returns to MLS action that night against rival Sporting KC at Energizer Park. Jen Cease, KMOX.
Jen, thank you. Very good story there. World Cup resuming today as it is narrowed to 8 teams, 6 from Europe. Unless Morocco surprises everyone, the champion will be from Europe or South America. Historically, 12 champions have come from Europe and 10 from South America. North America is hosting this year and had high hopes with the U.S., Mexico, and Canada, but all were eliminated before the quarterfinals. Africa's hopes now rest on Morocco. Despite some close matches, African teams have made early exits. The tournament continues to show dominance by the traditional soccer powerhouses. Here's what we have lined up for the World Cup. France seems to be everyone's favorite right now, taking on Morocco at 3 o'clock this afternoon in Foxborough. In Los Angeles, this will take place tomorrow. It will be Spain and Belgium. Belgium, the team that knocked the United States out of the tournament. Then on Friday, it's Norway and England. Seems to me a lot of people have adopted Norway. I think people are enjoying not only the players, but the fans with that Viking row. That'll take place in Miami on Friday as the quarterfinals of the World Cup are upon us. As for baseball, Michael McGreevy pitching on his 26th birthday was very good yesterday, and the Cardinals gave him some support.
Walker swings and he hits a drive deep right center field to the track, to the wall, and the ball is down for a hit. Wynn scores. Walker's at second. The ball hit down in between Mitchell and Laura, and the Cardinals are on the board.
That first inning, 3 doubles, yourself, Mason, Alec, how important was it that you guys got out to an early lead in this game?
Yeah, super important, man. That's really dominant pitch on the mound. So to be able to get up on them early is everything. So, job well done to everyone.
That's the voice of Matt Pauley with Jordan Walker. And Matt, the Cardinals turned things over after McGreevy's 6 1/3 to a new reliever.
Relief pitcher Luis Gastelum has arrived. The Cardinals' number 21 prospect, according to MLB Pipeline, has his contract purchased and makes his major league debut, recording the final 2 outs of the 7th inning of a 5-1 win against the Brewers. He allows an inherited runner to score, but is not charged with a run himself. Manager Oliver Marmol is happy to have Gastelum in the bullpen.
Probably the calmest I've seen someone when I hand them the ball for the first time. And we talked about it before the game. This is a guy that's not going to scare. He likes those moments. And not the easiest situation to be put in, but did a nice job.
Gastelum gets to the big leagues after posting a 2.27 ERA in 36 appearances at AAA Memphis. He was not scored upon in his final 18 AAA outings. He's the 7th player to make their major league debut for the Cardinals this season and the 4th pitcher. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Back to McGreevy, Matt. He was really good, and he's pitched well pretty much all year. Hasn't always had the good run support, but his ERA is down to 3.01. I mean, he could end up with a sub-3 ERA real soon. He's 4-7, might be the best 4-7 pitcher in all of baseball. McGreevy went 6 1/3, 1 run on 5 hits, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts as the Cardinals win this game. And they don't gain any ground in the wild card, but they are 2 out chasing a really good Marlins team now that has won 5 in a row. The Cardinals watch the Marlins win another ball game. They shut out the Mariners 2-0. They have good pitching down in Miami. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5, paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
You know, of all the communities that McKelvey Homes has done, and there are some good ones, this is one of the best, I think. The Reserve at Wildwood, a premier development located on 50 acres at the southwest corner of 109 and 100 in Wildwood. This community will offer a stunning collection of homes designed with high-quality craftsmanship that McKelvey Homes is known for. The Reserve at Wildwood. It's more than just a place to live. It's a place to thrive. Outdoor lovers are really going to enjoy the picturesque rain gardens, miles of walking trails that wind through scenic green spaces, an active and connected lifestyle. If you're looking for that, this is where you want to live. The Reserve at Wildwood, situated in one of the most sought-after areas of West County, a charming suburban atmosphere, easy access to nature, recreation, and modern amenities. And you're right near the Wildwood Town Center, so you can head over there. You're by Babbler State Park. You're by shopping, Rockwood School District. It's the Reserve at Wildwood from McKelvey Homes, McKelveyHomes.com.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:21, time for traffic and weather. Hopefully no problems. The weather shouldn't be too much of a problem temperature-wise, but we have some heavy thunderstorm possibilities this afternoon. More on that in just a moment. First, Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, the highways look pretty good so far, Debbie. Just a couple of slowdowns I'm noticing. This traffic reports a service of I-3 broadband. One of them is in the construction zone eastbound 70. Yesterday was a pretty solid jam most of the day. Unfortunately, we had a fatal motorcycle crash during the late morning there. Eastbound Highway 70 slow about midway in from Warrenton to the Wright City Rest area. Not a jam, but it is a slowdown in that construction area. And the other place I'm seeing a little bit of a slowdown is on eastbound 5570, just past 111 in that work zone. But the rest of the work zones, no issues, no delays. And in the rest of the highways, they look great. They are working with the one crash out in Wentzville, westbound 70, the ramp to eastbound 64. That ramp has restrictions on it because the car was heavily damaged. They need a tow truck for it. So just watch out for that. But otherwise, the rest of the roadways, you're good to go. Summer celebrations are here, whether you're heading to Red, White, and Boom in Peoria or listening to Cardinals baseball on KMOX. i3 Broadband keeps you connected. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 1-866-806-5485 to upgrade today, because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Going to be a humid one today, Roger. We're looking at a temperature of 90 degrees with flooding, downpours, hail, and damaging wind gusts. Comes heavy thunderstorms this afternoon and this evening. Tomorrow, humid, high of 85. It's 74 right now.
It is 6:23. Missouri's annual maternal mortality report is out. KMOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer talked about the findings with Sarah Earhart-Reed, Chief of Women's Health for the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
What we found in the report is similar to previous years, which is that most of our maternal mortality cases are preventable, meaning that there's something that we can do to keep this from happening again. That postpartum care is incredibly important. That's when most of our maternal mortality cases are happening, and that our leading causes have not changed, and that our leading causes are staying stable with mental health conditions, including substance use disorder and cardiovascular concerns.
Why do you think that is? Why are those so common?
we are grateful that we don't have too many people that pass away each year. Our sample size of the number of moms and cases that we're reviewing is pretty small. But we think we see those two causes. One, because pregnancy can cause a lot of stress on the heart, blood volume, and the way the heart has to pump all of that and make that work during pregnancy is a huge physiological change for moms, both during pregnancy and postpartum. So one, there's just some, physical changes that are happening while folks are pregnant. The other reason that we see is that postpartum and, birth, pregnancy, delivery, postpartum, that whole time frame is a difficult change, right? Both there's life stressors happening, but also physically there's hormones changing, sleep patterns, daily routines, and those things can make mental health concerns more difficult to manage. Medications are often changed as well during that time. And when folks maybe had stability before and don't have it now, that can be really difficult to manage. So just the physiological changes as well as the sort of stressors of the day-to-day can make it a more vulnerable time for moms.
So you mentioned that cardiovascular diseases and mental health conditions like substance abuse disorders were the leading underlying causes of some of these pregnancy-related deaths. What other ones?
We also saw infection, hemorrhage, amniotic fluid embolism as some of our leading causes. But we saw, everything from pulmonary conditions, cancer, hemorrhage, and injury, which includes homicide, as some of our leading causes. So, we see a variety of reasons why mom's dying. Our top 4 or 5 kind of take turns as the lead each year. But our main concern is that, these deaths are preventable across the board, right? So whether someone died from a homicide, from intimate partner violence, or a mental health condition, or an infection, like from COVID-19, or from another type of infection, like pneumonia, or sepsis, we know that there's something that we could have done different to keep this mom alive.
On average, how many Missouri women die each year, either during pregnancy or just after?
So the number of women whose cases we're reviewing, so women who died while pregnant or within postpartum, has been about 80 women each year. Now, of those, our board determines which one of those deaths took place or happened because of the pregnancy itself, that the pregnancy caused a condition to get worse, or started a chain of events that led to their death. And that number is much smaller. So we're looking between around 15 to 30 deaths a year of where the pregnancy itself caused the mother's demise.
That is Sarah Earhart-Reed, Chief of Women's Health for the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, speaking with our KMOX Health editor, Fred Bottomer. It's 6:27. The Time Check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Humane Society of Missouri. I am a big fan, and hopefully you are too, because they really do great work, not just in St. Louis and the region, but all over the state of Missouri. I adopted my Lola. She is the love of my life. What a wonderful dog from the Humane Society. Tom Ackerman adopted one of his dogs from the Humane Society. So if you are looking to add a furry friend to your family, please visit either in the city location or out in Maryland Heights. But here's a couple of other tips for those of you who do have pets, especially dogs. Don't be taking them in the car in this heat. It's true, 70 or over, don't take Rover, is what the Humane Society would tell you. Because even if you crack those windows open, if it's 70 degrees, it can get up to 100 degrees or more inside. You don't want to do that. Here's the animal cruelty hotline if you do see something that you want to report. 314-647-4400. 647-4400. Also, make sure when you're doing your outdoor barbecues, dogs don't like to have new food that they're not used to, so be careful of that. But also things like citronella candles, tiki torch oil, charcoal, just things that might be laying around that you might not think of that could be detrimental to your pets. Just just looking out for your furry friends. The Humane Society of Missouri, helping pets and animals all over the state, hsmo.org.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills. Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
We have sun downtown, 74 degrees at the Arch on a humid morning at 6:30. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, hitting the highways this morning, it's not a bad run. There's a little more volume out there, but overall not a big deal. Looks like there's a little slowdown northbound 55 at the ramp getting on to North 270. Eastbound 30 coming up the hill from Mauer Industrial to 270 is pretty slow right now. Have a roadwork slowdown on eastbound 70. Hasn't gotten any worse. Slowdown eastbound 70 about midway in from Warrenton to the Wright City rest area. Out west, though, other than that, southbound 61 and eastbound 64 and 70 from the Wentzville split across the Missouri River bridges look great. And on the Illinois side, eastbound 5570, I did see a little bit of a slowdown through 111. It doesn't look as bad now, so things are in better shape there. But again, even in the work zones, those are just the only delays we have, and they're very minor, so that's great news. At last check, we saw a crash out in the Wentzville area. The ramp from westbound 70 onto eastbound 64 was restricted. They had it blocked because of a single vehicle crash. They were getting a tow truck in there to move it. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
As for our weather, Roger, it's going to be like a St. Louis summer day, humid with a chance of a thunderstorm and a high of 90. Now, these thunderstorms this afternoon and evening could be heavy and could bring hail and damaging wind gusts. Low 74 tonight, humid high 85 tomorrow with a chance of a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. It's 74 right now.
3 men sentenced to prison for a 2024 shooting death outside a South Grand laundromat. Anthony Hill and Calvin Anderson, both 50, and 41-year-old Tyrell Henley were sentenced yesterday in the killing of 39-year-old Rion Robinson outside a Holly Hills laundromat in January 2024. Surveillance video showed the 3 men beating Robinson before Hill shot him with a .22 caliber gun. Hill, the shooter, got 20 years after pleading guilty to involuntary manslaughter. The other 2 reached cooperation agreements, each getting 10 years.
A lawsuit filed by a social media influencer who says he was fired from his day job for criticizing Enterprise is now in the hands of a St. Louis Circuit judge. Justin Krailman, known online as the Woke Ginger, worked for Food Outreach. Krailman posted a video in February criticizing Enterprise for renting vehicles to ICE agents and City SC for banning Black Lives Matter and trans pride flags at games.
Food Outreach has a member of the Taylor family on its board. Of course, the Taylors are owners of Enterprise and involved with City SC. Krailman's lawsuit cites Missouri law that prevents employers from firing workers due to their political beliefs. Food Outreach filed a motion to dismiss, and that's what a judge is currently considering.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts. michaelsflooringoutlet.com at 6:33. Money Minute next.
Are moles tearing up your yard? Don't let these lawn invaders turn your beautiful property into a mess. Rottler Pest Solutions offers professional mole control services to protect your lawn from damage. Visit Rottler.com today to schedule your free inspection.
It doesn't get any more iconic than the world-famous Budweiser Clydesdales. You've seen them in commercials. Of course, they're part of opening day in St. Louis. And how special is it that you can see these gentle giants up close and in person at their home in Soulard? Of course, I'm talking about the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. It's the home of Budweiser, and it's the home of our favorite horses, the Clydesdales. Check out the Clydesdale VIP experience. There's nothing quite like it, and there's nothing better than wrapping up your tour with an ice-cold Budweiser in the beer garden. BudweiserTours.com.
You feel it every time you check out. Prices up, paychecks stretched, families squeezed. That's why Ann Wagner's fighting to get government off your back and out of your way. Wagner passed the largest tax cut in American history, expanded child tax credits, ended taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And Wagner is working to lower costs so families keep more of their hard-earned money. But Ann Wagner knows delivering for Missouri means more than just protecting their wallets. It means protecting our streets as well. That's why Wagner fought to secure our border, deport dangerous illegal aliens, partner with law enforcement, and put predators behind bars and off our streets so our neighborhoods and communities stay safe. Because real effective leadership protects what matters most: your money, your family, your safety. Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
It is 6:35 and time for your Money Minute, sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. AstraZeneca shares plunged by as much as 9.9% in London trading after the pharma giant's gene silencer drug Wainua failed to prevent heart problems in patients with a rare and potentially fatal disease. Analysts were blindsided by the results after Astra management's communications had been relatively confident leading up to the announcement. The failed trial now leaves Astra's ambition of more than $5 billion in Wainua sales unlikely due to the challenging route to approval. Porsche deliveries slumped 16% in the first half, dragged down in part by weak demand in North America and a decline in China. The luxury car maker saw sales dip to the lowest level since 2020. Porsche said some of the main reasons for the overall decline included the end of production of the combustion engine 718 model, as well as the expiring of American tax incentives for electric and hybrid vehicles. Futures right now are all in the green, with the Dow up 24 points, while the S&P 500 has gained around 13 points. Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Hi, thanks for calling Uline.
Wait, did the phone even ring?
Nope.
Oh, okay, so you answered before the ring. But now you're going to put me on hold, right?
We don't do that here. We're real people answering the phone, ready to help with your order when you are.
Uline has thousands of quality products for your business and warehouse needs, always in stock, ready to ship same day, and backed by Uline's legendary 24/7 customer service. Uline, we warehouse for you.
Milo's Money Days are here, and we're making it rain for rewards members. For the first time ever, when you make a purchase of $200 or more through July 12th, you'll get up to $30 back in extra Milo's money. Not a member yet? Join for free today, because members get more at Lowe's. Milo's Money Award varies based on status. Members in Gold get 30, Silver get 20, and Bronze get 10. Milo's Money valid for 30 days. Restrictions and more terms at Lowe's.com/Milo's Money Days.
Doug.
Hot dog, get your hot dog. Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct, to the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn, get your popcorn.
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Today,
The Cards, the Brewers.
Ackerman Total Access 550. First pitch 645.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:39. A new round of strikes targeting Iran overnight as CENTCOM appears to take Trump's words on the ending ceasefire agreement to heart. New U.S. strikes hitting Iran, the second in 24 hours, according to a U.S. official, adding the U.S. targeting coastal radar sites and anti-ship missile locations after President Trump declared that ceasefire over. Federal regulators, safety regulators, are warning self-driving car companies should fix a growing problem of autonomous vehicles interfering with first responder activities during emergencies. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says it has documented cases where autonomous vehicles drove into active incidents, blocked ambulances and fire trucks, or failed to recognize flashing lights, traffic cones, smoke, and other warning signs. It is 6:40, and hopefully none of that is in your way this morning. But of course, try to pull over and get away from any emergency vehicles on the side of the road. Roger Brand has more for you from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, it's not a bad run out there right now, Debbie. Pretty good shape everywhere. Getting a little busier, but not bad. Eastbound Highway 30, you've got slow traffic approaching Mauer up the hill to 270. North 55 looking good coming up from Festus and in the Arnold area past 141, where we sometimes see slowdowns. North 270, still a great run from 55 up through Gravois, both directions. 270 between 64 and Ladue, you're good to go. We do have a little backup, and in fact, it is starting to look like a little bit of a backup as opposed to a slowdown, but delays on eastbound 70 about midway in from Warrenton to the Wright City Rest area in that construction zone. So just, pay alert and pay attention and slow down in these work zones. Unfortunately, we had a fatal crash there in that stretch on eastbound 70 yesterday morning late. Seeing some delays on the Illinois side as well on westbound 5570 between Route 40 and 159. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
It is 6:41. We've got some bright sunshine right now in downtown St. Louis, but judging from what happened yesterday afternoon with that deluge, you never know when that's going to change, right, Joe Lundberg?
Yeah, Debbie, and I don't think that sun's going to last, and certainly not bright sunshine going to last for very long. A lot of clouds moving in from the west that I've been watching on radar, this growing area of thunderstorms to our west. It's raining now in Columbia area, Jeff City, and points west, and there's more numerous showers and thunderstorms really from Springfield northward toward the Kansas City area. This is all kind of sliding eastward. Some of it will fall apart in the next couple of hours, but not all of it will. So with a lot more clouds and sun today, it's still going to get to 90 and very humid, but look for a shower and thunderstorm this afternoon. Pretty much any thunderstorm later today, and particularly tonight, could be severe. Flooding, downpours, hail, and damaging winds on the table. A very sticky night tonight, low 74. Warm and quite humid tomorrow. Clouds, some intervals of sun. Again, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. In fact, that's probably more numerous at night tomorrow night when there could be some tropical downpours, the high 85. We get to Saturday, a lot of clouds, humid, but really more of a shower or thunderstorm on occasion. I don't think it does an awful lot Saturday, the high 85. The drier air comes in from the north on Sunday and Monday. Sunshine dominates. Temperatures both days upper 80s, and then it looks like the heat builds by Tuesday into the 90s. 74 at St. Peter's, 77 in Florissant, some sunshine, and 77 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right. Thanks, Joe. It is now 6:43, and the genetic testing company 23andMe has agreed to pay millions of dollars to victims of a data breach under a settlement approved in St. Louis.
The 2023 hack exposed the genetic and personal information of nearly 7 million customers. Under terms approved by a federal bankruptcy judge in St. Louis this week, the company will pay out roughly $47 million to those victims. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young tells Total Information AM it's a warning to everyone to be more careful about handing over sensitive personal information to corporations.
For example, when 23andMe said, we will protect your data and we won't sell it. But there was a clause in those terms of service that nobody ever reads. There was a clause that said, well, except if we go into bankruptcy, then we reserve the right to sell your genetic data. And that's exactly what happened with 23andMe.
The company still faces a California lawsuit accusing 23andMe of ignoring warnings that its systems were compromised and downplaying the breach's severity. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
3 St. Louisans were among the Emmy nominees announced yesterday. Sterling K. Brown was nominated twice for the Hulu show Paradise, one for Outstanding Actor in a Drama Series and one as a producer of that show. He already has 14 Emmy nominations and 3 wins. Nikki Glaser got 2 Emmy nods, one for her work as the host of the 83rd Golden Globe Awards and the other as executive producer of her comedy special, Good Girl. And Edwardsville native Laurie Metcalf of Roseanne fame was nominated for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Comedy Series for her role in the season finale of Hacks. This is Metcalf's 13th nomination. She also won a Tony this year. The winners of the 78th Primetime Emmy Awards will air on NBC and Peacock on September 14th. The Cardinals are calling up a reliever who hasn't allowed a run in 2 months. Luis Gastelum was promoted from AAA Memphis yesterday to make his major league debut. The 23-year-old right-hander from Mexico posted a 7-1 record with a 2.27 ERA and for the Redbirds this season and hasn't been scored on in his last 18 appearances. That's a stretch dating back to May 21st. He'll be the 7th Cardinal to make his big league debut this season. We'll get more in sports coming up from Tom Ackerman at 6:45.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this ad for your morning commute to wake you up, which could help your driving. Science says that stimulating the brain increases alertness. So here's a pop quiz. How many months have 28 days? What gets wetter as it dries? What has keys but can't open locks? If you don't want to hear the answers, turn off this Liberty Mutual ad now. 12 months, a towel, piano. Enjoy being fully alert.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
With Mike Claiborne, I'm John Rooney. Last night, Alec Burleson drove in a run in the first inning with a double, and then he capped off his night in the 6th inning. Here it is for Burleson. A swing and a long one. Right field. That ball is long gone. Burleson, a 2-run shot off a lefty. Jared Koenig. The Cardinals have extended their lead to 5-0. He hit that ball so hard it couldn't go foul. And Burleson got those 2 hits against lefties.
Yeah, that was important considering he'd been struggling over the last few games. I thought the fact that it was 443 feet, he didn't miss any of that pitch. But it was a good night all around when you look at how the Cardinals played.
Happy birthday, winning pitcher Michael McGreevy.
Oh, man, this is as good as we've seen him in a long time. And he got out of that first inning out of the jam, and then he was money after that.
The Cardinals and the Brewers wrap up the 5-game series tonight on the air at 5:50.
Matt Pauley, give us the numbers on McGreevy.
It's well documented that Cardinals pitching is running on fumes heading into the All-Star break. The club gets exactly what they need, a start with length, as Michael McGreevy pitches them to a 5-1 victory over the Brewers. McGreevy pitches into the 7th, going 6 1/3 innings, allowing just 1 run on 5 hits. It's an understatement to say manager Oliver Marmol is pleased.
Made pitches and then was able to settle in and did a really nice job in the way he used the sinker. That was a good pitch for him. The cutter was good. He threw some much better sweepers too, so that was fun to see. But the overall mix was really good. Gave us exactly what we needed today. I mean, everybody has a pretty good idea as to where our pen is, and giving them a break was important.
McGreevy gets his first win in 2 months. He throws 6 or more innings, allowing 2 runs or fewer for a 13th time this season. That ties Philadelphia Phillies Cy Young Award candidate Christopher Sanchez for the Major League lead. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Who's Hot, Who's Not, sponsored by St. Louis Composting, growing gardens, and making memories. Here's your World Cup schedule starting again today. After a day off yesterday, the quarterfinals are upon us. France and Morocco will play at 3 o'clock today in Boston. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock, Spain and Belgium in Los Angeles. On Saturday, a pair of games, 4 o'clock game, Norway and England in Miami. And Messi and Argentina will be playing just across the state from us in Kansas City on Saturday night. It's an 8 o'clock start against Switzerland. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Let's take a break.
Good idea.
Hey, Tom, what are you doing on that Amendment 4?
You know, we fought for our freedom and rights. I'm not giving them away without a fight.
4 takes them?
That's exactly what 4 does. For over 100 years, Missouri voters have used our constitutional power to act when the politicians refused. I'll be darned if I'm voting to pass on less freedom and power to my kids.
It doesn't 4 kill majority rule?
Yep, creates minority rule, where just 5% of statewide voters in one district can block any citizen-led reform, making it nearly impossible to pass citizen-led ballot measures.
That's just dumb.
And when the politicians refuse to act, we've used citizen-led ballot measures to pass some big stuff, like lobbyist reforms, term limits for career politicians, and outlawing tax hikes without voter approval.
I'm not surrendering my power and rights to a bunch of politicians and lobbyists. I'm no on Amendment 4.
Hard no on 4.
Pay 4 buttons or inch, prepare governance.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It is 6:50. Here is Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
So we've still got that little bit of a backup out west on eastbound 70, Debbie. This traffic report's a service of Ricken Financial. Eastbound 70 about midway in from Warrenton to the Wright City Rest area. It's bogged down. A little bit of it's stop and go, but basically just slow. There's a little bit of a slowdown. Not bad, but a little slow. North 270 as you approach the Clayton Road overpass over in Town and Country. Eastbound Highway 30, Mauer up the hill to 270. That's slow right now as well. They did clear that crash on the ramp from westbound 70 onto eastbound 64. No longer any restrictions there. A couple of stalls. They moved to the shoulder. North 270 at Tesson Ferry. North 270 looks fine, like I said, with the exception of just a little slowdown to Clayton Road, and eastbound 70 at the Bermuda exit. A stall looks like was moved out of the way. And on the Illinois side, there's just a little hint of a slowdown on eastbound 5570 east of 111. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Join Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost for Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement, every Saturday at 3 p.m. right here on KMOX. And get more, including the Kickin' with the Rickens podcast, when you visit RickenFinancial.com.
No doubt about it. Humid with a chance of a thunderstorm is the story for the next couple of days. We'll see periods of clouds and sunshine today, but be on alert for a heavy thunderstorm, not only this afternoon, but also possible tonight. A low of 74 tonight after a high of 90 during the day. And tomorrow we're up to 85 with a couple of showers in the thunderstorm. It's 74 right now.
The news continues at 6:52. John Deere agreeing to a settlement with Illinois and 4 other states that will guarantee farmers access to resources to repair their equipment on their own.
The 10-year settlement is the latest step in resolving a long-running dispute between Deere and farmers who want to fix their own tractors and equipment. Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul in a statement said, quote, "For years, Deere refused to give farmers the right to repair equipment they had already purchased, funneling them instead to Deere's network of authorized dealers. Roger Plummer, News Radio, 105.9 WBBM.
Illinois State Rep Kevin Schmidt says he's donating his salary increase because he voted against giving himself the raise.
I take pride in donating my legislative pay raise to help people in our communities who are less fortunate.
Schmidt argues that in a time of high inflation, lawmakers should focus on fiscal responsibility instead of increasing their own compensation. He's currently sending his latest increase to the Twigs program to help bridge the hunger gap during summer break.
I am happy to support their efforts and help ensure children don't have to worry about where their next meal will come from during summer break.
Families can find a list of lunch distribution sites by visiting the website twigsforkids.com.
After a year of lobbying by some junior high school students, Illinois officially has a state B. Governor Pritzker virtually joined students from Naperville's Lincoln Junior High outside Chicago to sign a bill designating the black and gold bumblebee as Illinois' state symbol.
Most importantly, it's a demonstration of the power of young people who are passionate, curious, and civically engaged. So congratulations to all the students who inspired this effort.
The students led the effort following a science class research project. Illinois conservation officials praised the choice, noting the black and gold bumblebee builds below-ground nests and serves as an essential pollinator for the state's natural environment.
You've probably heard the phrase, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? But what about your dog?
O'Fallon Police and Animal Control Officer Danielle Lamb says summer is the busiest season for her.
Kids are home more often, so they tend to let the dog out more often, out the front door, or they don't shut a gate, or they don't lock the side yard. So summer is pretty busy as far as animals at large go.
Lamb says the majority of calls revolve around loose animals and dog bites. And while heat waves can sometimes bring higher volumes of calls, she says last week was pretty average.
From the 1st to the 7th, we had 20 animal calls, and 15 of them were animals that had gotten out.
Lamb adds that she didn't have to rescue any pets from hot cars, which was a relief. Jade Aubrey, KMOX News.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Who's the greatest actor going today? You might still say this guy. He is 70 today. Saving Private Ryan, Forrest Gump, just to name many, many on his list. That would be Tom Hanks, celebrating a birthday today.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back. Happy birthday wishes going out to Pat Kaiser of O'Fallon, Illinois. Also, Omar Maldonado, and happy birthday wishes to Andre Holman.
Best birthday ever.
Anheuser-Busch Brewery is the home of the Clydesdales. Anheuser-Busch Brewery is the home of the Clydesdales. I'm going to say it again because when you have people coming into town, I'm going to tell you what they want to see. This was a home run. Take them to Anheuser-Busch to see the Clydesdales. Did you know that they're in Soulard right now? You can go check them out. It doesn't get any more iconic than that. The world famous Budweiser Clydesdales. Wait until you see the look on your family members' faces, your friends who come into town, when they are up close with the Clydesdales. They've seen them in commercials. They've seen them trotting around the track at Busch Stadium on opening day and how special that is. You can see these gentle giants up close and in person at their home at Anheuser-Busch, the home of Budweiser. It's the home of our favorite horses, the Clydesdales, and check them out with the Clydesdale VIP experience. You can find it at BudweiserTours.com right now by booking your tickets. The Clydesdale VIP experience. Nothing quite like it, and there's nothing better than wrapping up your tour, by the way, with an ice-cold Budweiser in the beer garden. BudweiserTours.com. That's BudweiserTours.com.
When it comes to family law, a lot has changed in recent years, so assumptions can be costly. If you see or sense a change coming in your family life that could have legal implications, it's important to know where you stand. Getting good legal advice early is never a bad idea. I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. If you or anyone you know is facing a family law issue, start with a consultation. Visit CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Walker just gave the Cardinals the lead. Homer! Mason Wynn to his feet. He throws. He
St. Louis, it's time to hit the ballpark.
ATL meets STL when the Cardinals take on the Atlanta Braves at Busch Stadium, July 10th through the 12th. Plus, score great weekend giveaways, including a garage shirt and a kid's jersey. Don't miss 3 days of summer baseball, family fun, and Cardinals action. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
Relive the magic of 2006 on Saturday, July 11th, when the Cards play the Braves at Busch Stadium. That night, fans will take home a David Eckstein bobblehead presented by Mid-America Transplant. This giveaway celebrates his unforgettable World Series MVP performance and scrappy plays that defined a championship run. Don't miss your chance to add this classic to your collection. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotions.
It is 6:58, and here's Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, hitting the roads is a good proposition this morning right now, Debbie. It seems like we're getting into that lull we normally see right around 7 o'clock before we get to the peak rush hour at 7:40. The only backup we have right now is that one out on 70 in Warrenton, eastbound 70, midway in from Warrenton, the Wright City rest area. You're bumper to bumper up to that point, but once you get past the rest area, it's a good run into Wright City and beyond. In fact, southbound 61 and eastbound 64 out of St. Charles County are continuing to roll along as well. North 270 looks great, 55 up through Gravois. Both directions on 270 between 64 and Ladue, still good to go. Eastbound 30 just a little busy at Mauer and at 270, so there's not even much of a slowdown there. And eastbound 5570 past 111 looks okay. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Questions are raised by a police trade organization about a St. Louis County police shooting that sent 2 teenagers to the hospital over the holiday weekend. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
This is KMOX Health Editor Fred Bodimer. What are the leading causes of maternal mortality in Missouri? The answer is coming up.
Is it ever safe to leave your pet in the car? I'm Jade Aubrey. Stay tuned to find out next hour.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Quite warm and humid today with clouds and sun, along with a shower and thunderstorm later on, the high 90.
There's a chopper toward the second baseman, charging for me, and he throws quickly. Got him for a Redbird winner.
The Cardinals get it done against the Milwaukee Brewers. Michael McGreevy is brilliant, and the Cardinals get contributions all over the place. We'll have it for you in 15 minutes.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. President Trump back at the White House following the NATO summit and declaration that the memorandum of understanding on the ceasefire with Iran is over. ABC's Martha Raddatz says it's unclear where things stand right now as the U.S. and Iran exchanged more airstrikes overnight.
What is clear is that this war that the president said would last 4 weeks is now in its 5th month, with strikes resuming, the ceasefire declared dead, no deal on eliminating Iran's nuclear program, and Iran continuing its threats, saying America still hasn't learned that bullying and breaking promises are no longer cost-free.
Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner officially stepping aside in the race days after published allegations of sexual assault by a former girlfriend. He denies the accusations, but new revelations have left the Democrats now searching for another name to put on the ballot. Singer Bonnie Tyler has died at the age of 75. This is ABC News. Another heat dome over a big swath of the country. The southeast will be feeling those triple digits today. North Charleston and Savannah could see heat indexes of 115 degrees once again. The death toll from the double earthquakes in Venezuela now topping more than 3,800 people. Palm Beach International Airport is no longer President Donald J. Trump International Airport is what it'll be called from now on. Traveler Jill Kripke says she doesn't think the president is a good example for the country and says she will boycott.
I think it's a joke, and I'm going to fly in and out of Orlando from now on to get to my destination.
However, traveler Carrie Kaiser says she thinks it's exciting to have a president in her backyard. And people like Kripke,
I think they're crazy. They want to get on I-95 and drive an hour south or 2 hours north. Go right ahead. But you know what? Just because of a name change to change your airport? Come on.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Clouds and sun right now in downtown St. Louis at 7:02. It is 75 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. The full forecast coming your way in just about 10 minutes. A controversial measure to overhaul school board elections in St. Charles County is now waiting for the governor's signature. It would shift local school board races and tax levy votes from the spring municipal ballot to the higher turnout November general election. The legislation would also allow school board candidates to list their political party affiliation on the ballot.
Governor Mike Kehoe tells 97.1 he's still reviewing the final text, but supports the concept.
But I'm a fan. Your St. Charles County folks did a good job of getting that shepherd through the legislature. And fundamentally, we agree with the ability to have school board elections in the fall when more people traditionally can go out for an election, understand what the issue's about.
Critics say the bill would inject unnecessary partisan politics into local education. If signed into law, those changes would take effect in 2028.
With potential data center regulations heading to the St. Louis City Board of Aldermen, the NAACP is taking aim at the legislation, arguing it is too restrictive to the emerging industry. NAACP President Adolphus Pruitt in St. Louis City believes you can be more effective if you empower local residents to approve or reject new data center projects proposed in their neighborhoods.
You don't get to make that choice. I should get to make it as a property owner. Why not give me that choice when it comes to liquor stores, but you won't give me that choice when it comes to data centers?
The regulations go before the full Board of Aldermen, where they can be further amended ahead of a final vote.
A multi-agency search in Stuckey Township, Illinois, ended last night with the discovery of what investigators believe are the remains of a small child.
Earlier today, Illinois and Missouri law enforcement found what is believed to be a small child during a multi-agency search here in the Stuckey Township of Illinois. We have many questions, and we are working to get answers.
That is St. Louis Police Lieutenant Colonel Renee Kreisman, who says authorities don't believe there's an ongoing threat to the public. An autopsy will help determine the child's identity and how the child died.
St. Louis County identified its first reported heat death of the summer, but the victim's family says the county got it wrong. 89-year-old Richard Avalone, a retired Ladue tax attorney, died July 3rd. His wife, Carolyn, tells the Post-Dispatch that Richard fell at the top of the stairs and laid up there, and that the heat may have been a factor only because the stairway wasn't air conditioned. She tells the newspaper his bedroom air conditioner was running and the room was about 77 degrees.
Questions being raised about a St. Louis County police shooting that sent 2 teens to the hospital over the holiday weekend. We get more from KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
The Ethical Society of Police, which represents black officers, issued a statement calling for a timely and transparent investigation into the July 5th shooting that happened in Spanish Lake. A crowd of young people was throwing fireworks near police vehicles when an officer fired multiple rounds into a car, hitting a teenage boy and girl. The officer said he felt threatened. ESOP is asking whether the car was moving toward or away from the officer at the time. County police have not commented. The prosecutor's office says it will review the case.
Webster Groves is suing the fireworks company that nearly ruined the city's Independence Day celebration. AM Pyrotechnics canceled its contract with the city the day before the 4th of July. Webster Groves was able to find a replacement vendor at the last minute to keep the show on schedule. After a closed-door meeting this week, Mayor Laura Arnold announced the city will take the matter to court.
The council unanimously authorized the city manager to go forward with litigation against AM Pyrotechnics, who is the vendor who canceled their show on such short notice.
The sudden cancellation impacted several other communities across Missouri and Arkansas. Many of those places were forced to cancel their fireworks displays completely.
Tonight, Missouri City will revive a conversation about banning new apartment complexes.
O'Fallon first discussed the idea this past winter, but it ultimately came up short. Now the idea will be debated again tonight during the City Council's work session. The idea is by establishing a 1-year ban on new apartments, the city could use that time to better understand the impact they have on traffic, infrastructure, and their schools. The ban would not impact new construction of single-family homes. It would also not stop projects that have already been given approval. St. Charles County recently passed a similar ban, but theirs only accounts for unincorporated parts of the county and is only for 6 months. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Louis Public Schools held the first of its community workshops last night, asking families to help shape a district-wide overhaul. But community advocate Gwendolyn Cogshell tells Fox 2 the troubles start well beyond school buildings.
The reason that the community is declining is not because of the school district. It's because of the lack of economic development that hasn't happened in North St. Louis for the last 70 years.
District leaders point to declining enrollment, a projected $41 million deficit, and nearly 300 teacher vacancies as the force is driving the overhaul. 2 more workshops are scheduled for later this month.
An American tavern coming to Ballpark Village, the Clydesdale, expected to open in the Budweiser Brewhouse building on Clark Avenue in August. James Beard Award-winning chef Kevin Nation is behind the project, serving elevated tavern foods, including seafood and burgers. The space spans approximately 5,000 square feet and features a patio. That James Beard Award-winning chef, by the way, will be joining Chris and Amy later this morning at 9:30.
It's 7:08. Traffic and weather next.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician. I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes. So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales. And voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. Taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder, but our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
Guys, Kevin Wheeler here for FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of KMOX. And I like to joke, and I say it all the time, like my work with FanDuel Sportsbook goes well beyond the time that it came online in Missouri. I used to have to travel to play. Not anymore. Now I get to play at home, and you can too, whether it's baseball season, whether it's hockey, basketball, football, and now soccer. On the biggest stage of the world, FanDuel is stepping up. They are changing the game because sometimes the player you've got gets subbed off and your bet goes off with them, but not anymore. With FanDuel Super Sub, if your player is subbed out, your bet stays in. So that's right. So if your player leaves the match, your bet continues on with the substitute. So you're still in it to the final whistle. No need to go anywhere. You just hang in there. You still got your shot. But visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to get yourself started. Super easy to do. And let there be goals this summer on FanDuel. Just remember, you have to be 21 or older and present in Missouri. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
7:10, time for traffic and weather. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a good run all the way around, Debbie. Right now, there's just not a lot of volume. Thursday mornings tend to be lighter, and that's what's playing out right now. And, of course, the weather's cooperating, so you don't have any of that to deal with. The only place we're seeing delays is on eastbound Highway 70. Again, there's still this bit of a delay. It's not a solid jam, backed up briefly, basically just slow about midway in from Warrenton to the Wright City Rest areas where you see the delays once you get past that Wright City Rest area. It's a great run eastbound and 64 picking up there in Wentzville, southbound 61 included. Everything looks great coming out of St. Charles County for you. 270 around Ladue, 64 area. Still looks great both ways. North 270 getting up to that point from 55 is still wide open. 55 looks good at Festus and in Arnold at the Merrimack River in the work zone there. And the work zones on the Illinois side, not bad. Periodically, I'm seeing some brief slowdowns eastbound 5570 past 111. Right now, that looks great as well. Next update is 720 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, what do you have in store for us today?
KMOX AccuWeather, intervals of clouds and sun today. Quite warm but humid. Look for a shower and thunderstorm in the afternoon, the high 90. Mostly cloudy, warm and muggy tonight with a couple of thunderstorms. Those thunderstorms can be severe, especially late today and tonight with flooding, downpours, hail, and damaging winds. The overnight, though, just 74. For tomorrow, more clouds and sun, warm and very humid with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the area, the high 85. For Saturday, mostly cloudy and muggy with a shower and thunderstorm likely, the high 85. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
We have a few clouds out there, 74 degrees with a lot of humidity downtown at the Arch.
St. Louis Public Schools kicking off its overhaul process at a community workshop last night, asking families to consider 3 district-wide models. One wouldn't change grade levels much and close only a few schools. Another would split some middle schools. The third would essentially eliminate middle school and make schools pre-K through 8th. That would close about 20 or more schools.
Myra Berry told the crowd this is about more than shutting schools down.
This work that we're doing is not about just closing or consolidating schools. It is about making sure that we create well-resourced schools.
The effort is driven by declining enrollment and rising costs with the goal of building schools that can be able to serve students for decades. Any changes wouldn't take effect until the 27-28 school year.
St. Louis City SC launching its first Special Olympics team.
St. Louis City SC midfielder Daniel Edelman joined City Unified for training this week as the club prepares for its inaugural season in partnership with Special Olympics Missouri. For Edelman, spending time with the athletes was much more than about soccer.
It just feels so good to come out and to see them outside and embracing a sport that can be played by various cultures and bring everyone together. It's limitless soccer. Being here today, seeing these kids really share a passion and a common goal, it's so exciting and a privilege for me.
City Unified opens its season against Sporting KC's Unified team on July 16th before First Team City SC returns to MLS action that night against rival Sporting KC at Energizer Park. Jen Cease, KMOX.
Jen, the World Cup is ready to roll with the quarterfinals starting today, Saturday, across the state in Kansas City. They're getting ready. Dan Weinbaum.
Argentina is coming back home after nearly losing to Egypt in yesterday's early match. Kansas City-based Argentina stormed back in the late minutes to beat a spirited and talented Egypt 3-2. We've already seen a large and intense Argentinian fan base here in KC and out at Arrowhead in the first World Cup match played here. And now they return to play Switzerland. The Swiss defeated Colombia on penalty kicks, a dramatic finish after both teams could not score during regular time nor in extra time, going 0-0, 0-0 throughout. But the Swiss made it through, earning the honor of playing in Kansas City. The match, Argentina-Switzerland, this Saturday at Arrowhead.
Dan, that'll get started at 8 o'clock. First game is today at 3 o'clock. France and Morocco will play in Boston. Then on Friday, a 2 o'clock start for Spain. Spain taking on the team that knocked the United States out, Belgium. That'll get started in Los Angeles at 2 o'clock. St. Louis time. Then the Saturday games, Norway and England at 4 o'clock in Miami, and Argentina and Switzerland, as described right there at 8 o'clock in Kansas City. The Cardinals, they'll be playing the Braves this weekend, but one more game tonight against the Milwaukee Brewers. The Cardinals took them on after losing the first 3 and 7 of the first 8 they played this season. Jordan Walker tried to change that in the first inning.
Walker swings and he hits a drive deep right center field to the track, to the wall, and the ball is down for a hit. Wynn scores. Walker's at second. The ball hit down in between Mitchell and Laura, and the Cardinals are on the board.
Here comes Alec Burleson.
Burleson rips it into right center field. That ball gets down. It's headed to the wall. Laura is chasing it down. Burleson has an RBI double against lefty Kyle Harrison, and I love 2-out RBIs. It's 2-0 Cardinals.
Jose Fermin says, I got some offense in this bat, 4th inning.
It's so far. Hard hit ball to left field. Fermin gets into one. It's back at the track, and it's gone into the Brewers bullpen. Home run number 4 for Jose Fermin.
You want to see a home run? How about this, Burley?
Here it is for Burleson. A swing and a long one. Right field. That ball is long gone. Burleson, a 2-run shot off a lefty, Jared Koenig. The Cardinals have extended their lead to 5-0. He hit that ball so hard it couldn't go foul.
And all the while, the Cardinals starter, Michael McGreevy, was brilliant. On his 26th birthday, McGreevy pitched into the 7th inning. He allowed 1 run on 5 hits, walked 1, and struck out 6. And Matt Pauley, They turn the ball over to a reliever making his debut.
Relief pitcher Luis Gastelum has arrived. The Cardinals' number 21 prospect, according to MLB Pipeline, has his contract purchased and makes his major league debut, recording the final 2 outs of the 7th inning of a 5-1 win against the Brewers. He allows an inherited runner to score, but is not charged with a run himself. Manager Oliver Marmol is happy to have Gastelum in the bullpen.
Probably the calmest I've seen someone when I hand him the ball for the first time. And we talked about it before the game. This is a guy that's not going to scare. He likes those moments. And not the easiest situation to be put in, but did a nice job.
Gastelum gets to the big leagues after posting a 2.27 ERA and 36 appearances at AAA Memphis. He was not scored upon in his final 18 AAA outings. He's the 7th player to make their major league debut for the Cardinals this season and the 4th pitcher. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Cut to the game, sponsored by The Diamond Shop, thediamondshop.net. How do things look in the standings right now? The Cardinals are 2 games out of the final wildcard spot in the National League. Cubs, Phillies, Marlins own those 3 spots. Marlins are red hot right now. They've won 5 in a row. They beat the Mariners last night 2-0. The Cardinals 2 back, the Nationals 3.5 back, and Pittsburgh sits 4 back of that final wild card spot in the National League. First reported by CBS's John Rothstein, Mizzou has a new basketball opponent on the road this season. They'll be playing at Indiana on December 18th in Bloomington. I'm Tom Ackerman on the home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck, taxed. Your property, taxed. Everything you buy, taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken. It's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5, paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
It's Tom Ackerman. I've been with the Lederman Law Firm for about 20 years now. And what sets them apart is they don't treat estate planning like a one and done thing. You can't put your estate planning documents in a drawer and forget about them. That doesn't help your family when it matters most. You have to treat your estate plan like what it really is, a living, breathing plan. And at Lederman Law Firm, they build your plan to protect your family, your assets, and your wishes. And then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it updated. Because life is going to change. Family needs change, assets change, the law changes. Many people don't realize how many plans out there are outdated until it's too late. That's why I stick with the Lederman Law Firm and the annual process they offer to help keep our plan up to date with changes over time. If you're in the St. Louis metro area, including Illinois, and you want real peace of mind, check out the Lederman Law Firm, ledermanlaw.com, or call 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
Now the news at 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:20, and here we go with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, back to seeing a little more slow traffic on eastbound Highway 30, Debbie, from almost West Watson up the hill to 270. I think folks will realize now that West Watson is closed for the next several months between Weber Hill and Pagata Parkway over there at Tapawingo. So, more folks have to stick with Highway 30 these days. But it's not jammed. It's just a slowdown. And once you get to 270, you're good to go. From 55 all the way up through 44, all the way up past 64 in Ladue in the work zone. No delays there. Speaking of work zones, we do have that delay still, that slowdown on eastbound 70 midway in from Warrenton to the Wright City Rest Area. Once you get past the rest area, things open up, and eastbound 70 and 64, southbound 61 are all great runs across the Missouri River bridges from that point. And Illinois drivers not experiencing any real issues either. Still looks okay. Periodically, I've seen some slow traffic on 5570 eastbound past 111. Right now, that looks good. 64 in favor of Heights clear, and it's clear sailing westbound across the Poplar and Musel Veterans Bridges as well. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrate the month of July with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129. Get your air ducts cleaned for $599 per unit. Book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the savings. That's ZeroResSTL.com.
Humid with periods of clouds and sunshine. Heavy thunderstorm this afternoon, high 90. Heavy thunderstorm this evening, low 74. Humid tomorrow with a chance of a thunderstorm and a high of 85. It's 75 right now.
Well, as we continue on KMOX, let's get you the latest on the Breakthrough Beverage strike, which is now marking over 60 days. Breakthrough Beverage, a major distributor of alcoholic products, including some big-name beers and spirits in the St. Louis area. And joining us right now is Jim Barrett, the Vice President at Teamsters Local 688. Thank you for being with us, Jim.
Thanks for having me.
What is the latest as you mark, I believe it's 63 days to be specific?
It is. So today's day 63. Our members have been out there in the rain, cold, sun. They've experienced all the seasons to this point in time and yet remain committed. We are trying to get them back to work at a wage that meets industry standards, which is currently below. And we want to also trying to fight for their picket line protection. It's a foundation of some of the stuff we do here in the Teamsters and in the union movement as a whole. And we're also trying to get some casual language, which is their part-time workers, changed. Currently, the way it's being utilized, it inhibits full-time employee status for a number of members who've been there for some as long as 6-7 years without being full-time status. So our members remain committed, and we're joined with Local 600, who's fighting for their first contract, with the drivers there as well. And we also have members out on strike on the same issues in Chicago at Local 710.
We've heard certainly in previous negotiations in other industries about wages, for instance, but what seems unique about this, you mentioned picket line protections. Can you talk about that for a second, please?
Yeah, for sure. So we want, in all our contracts, we have foundational language that protects the right to honor a picket line, as well as to extend picket lines to other like industries to try to gain support as well. This is a last resort type of thing that we want, that we utilize, but it's foundational to what we do to get attention, to exercise our union rights. And we think that's fundamental. And the fact that this is being attacked obviously is a problem, but it gives us pause at what the end game is to this. So our members understand that. It's a hard one to explain, but they get it. And it's fundamental for them protecting their jobs.
When was the last time both sides sat at the table and talked about this?
So we've at Local 688 last met June 6th with Breakthrough. And have not had any further discussions to this point.
Is there any indication or light at the end of the tunnel that both sides may come back to a table sometime soon?
Yeah, we hope so. So we just got to the July 4th holiday. I know this was a big time for Breakthrough, and we had a large effect. We've heard that from all the retail operations that utilize them and their support, which we're extremely grateful for. So we're hoping that this spurs some new action. There's a little talk that this possibly happened, but nothing of any concrete. And so the faster we can do this, the faster we can get our members back to work and supporting their families, the better off we think everybody will be.
I was just going to ask about the big holiday weekend and whether it's store shelves or taps at bars. What have you heard about the impact of the strike?
Well, we see the effect in the stores. The shelves are very obvious to us, and we've seen. But what we get a lot on the strike line too is people coming by and reporting to us that they are not taking orders. A lot of local bars, a lot of establishments that our people frequent, quite frankly, come by, showing their support. We're extremely grateful. We've had everything from pizza operations, bringing by pizzas, and once again, the effect of on these retail operations is very obvious to us, and we get reports about it all the time.
And of course, so people can relate to this better, what are some of the big brands, recognizable brands, whether it's spirits, beer, et cetera, seltzer certainly, that Breakthrough has contracts to distribute in this metro area?
Sure. Those are Jim Beam, Maker's Mark, Yingling Beers, Seagram's Escapes, Jameson, Kendall Jackson Wines, Malibu. There's a whole variety.
All right, Jim, thank you so much for being with us on KMOX and getting us up to date on this.
Thanks for your interest.
It is now 7:26. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Electric Air Conditioning, Electrical and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
This is the time when you need to sell that home. People want to sell their home before the school year starts and the clock is ticking. So what do you do if your house has just been sitting there on the market, or maybe you're getting an offer here or there, but nothing that even comes close to what you want? Might be time to call Gloria Lou. Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She is St. Louis's real estate expert, and she sells homes faster and for more money than the average agent. She has a database of thousands of buyers in waiting, which is why your home may already be sold. She's been doing this for decades and sells a home just about every other day. So why not let her sell yours? Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your price and time frame, or she'll buy it herself. She'll put that in writing. By the way, Gloria has a great team that works with her. If you'd like to join her team, or you know somebody who does, wanting to level up a real estate career, call Gloria Lou. She's hiring motivated inside sales and listing agents right now. So join a team with their proven winners at Gloria Lou of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Whether you want to sell your home or inquire about joining the team, 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or online at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Well, I'm sure you're aware, I guess you can all imagine, that not only are we busy, but other reputable companies are also just as busy, if not busier, and it's only going to get worse. So if you know, I know this is tough, but if your system has not been keeping up with your house for just not this year, but last year, the year before, and even the year before that, if you want to quit doing it and just get it done, just call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, the easiest of numbers that sometimes I forget. So write it down. 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Want to hear a shocking statistic? Medical malpractice is the third leading cause of death in America. Don't believe it? Google it. And that doesn't count serious injuries like birth injuries to perfectly healthy children. All doctors wear white jackets, but it doesn't make them all the same. Most medical errors are committed by the same quacks over and over again. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Many hospitals looking for more profits are forcing doctors and their groups to be employees of the hospital or be forced out of their system. It's a troubling trend in medicine. People make mistakes, but medical mistakes are huge and often forever. If you believe your child suffered a birth injury or a misdiagnosis or mistake led to a loved one's death or injury, let our team of medical malpractice lawyers examine your case for free. No recovery, no fee. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
We have a partly cloudy sky and 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman at 7:30.
I'm Debbie Monterrey. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We'll start to see some slow traffic now on northbound 270 as you make your way up north of 55 up toward Gravois. It's just kind of slow there. And again, north of Big Bend toward Manchester, just bogged down in those stretches on northbound 270. Still the delays. Hasn't gotten any worse, but there's still a backup and a slowdown jam. And then it's just slow about midway in from Warrenton to the Wright City Rest area on eastbound 70. Once you get past that point, eastbound 70 and eastbound 64 both look great coming out of St. Charles County. Northbound 55 still running well. 64 both ways in the Fairview, Richmond Heights area look great. Downtown, eastbound 64 getting on to 5570, a little slow through Exchange again this hour. Actually, they start in the 6 a.m. hour. They have that restriction on 5570 there past Exchange until about 2 this afternoon, but that's the only roadwork delay at that point. And then there's just a little slowdown again briefly east of 111. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg says we will have a humid day with periods of clouds and sunshine, a heavy thunderstorm this afternoon, a high of 90. Another heavy thunderstorm could be coming tonight. Downpours, hail, damaging wind gusts, a low of 74. And for tomorrow, considerable clouds with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. It'll be humid with a high of 85 degrees. Currently, it's 76 in downtown St. Louis.
A man convicted of kidnapping and raping a woman in Collinsville will be sentenced today. 42-year-old Timothy Dubois, convicted in May after abducting a 21-year-old woman from a Collinsville Starbucks at knife point in November 2022. Dubois forced the woman to drive to Troy, Illinois, where he sexually assaulted her before driving her back to Collinsville. He'll be sentenced in Edwardsville this afternoon at 1:30.
Also in the news this morning, a trial is set later this month for a man accused of causing severe head trauma to a Ferguson police officer in 2024 protests. Elijah Gant is accused of knocking Officer Travis Brown to the ground during protests commemorating the 10th anniversary of the killing of Michael Brown. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young anticipates the severity of Officer Brown's injuries will play a large role in the case.
Prosecutors are going to want to show what was done to Officer Brown. He's in a motorized wheelchair. He cannot speak very well. He cannot walk. He's been undergoing daily treatment now for years. He's got enormous cognitive issues, and that will play into the prosecution's argument.
Young points out prosecutors will have to prove that Gant had intent to harm the officer.
Who will live in Soulard in 100 years? Neil Putz with the Soulard Restoration Group says Sunday they're burying a time capsule to be opened in 2126.
The contents include letters from neighborhood residents. We're using archival paper and pens to make sure that this will last for 100 years.
They're including photos of Soulard's people, places, and events. It'll be buried at Soulard Station Sunday around 3 p.m.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Your Money Minute next.
What do parents think of back to school at Staples, where supplies start at just 25 cents?
Staples has the latest laptops with up to 40% savings.
I may hug the cashier.
So embarrassing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's a wonderful time at Staples with up to 40% off select tech. Staples.
That was easy.
Visit Staples today or shop online and in the app. Ends 9/12. Exclusions apply.
Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you washed that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Nope, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It is now 7:35, and that means it's time for your money report. It's sponsored for you this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Target is making changes in its strategy team, including eliminating some roles. That's according to a memo viewed by Bloomberg News. It's the latest move to simplify the retailer structure and improve efficiency under a new CEO. The strategy group holds an important position within Target, helping to decide priorities both near and longer term. The memo said Target is committed to helping impacted employees find new roles within the company. New numbers suggest Americans are starting to pay down some credit card debt after the biggest back-to-back increases in borrowing in more than 3 years. Fed numbers for May show that the category, including credit cards, declined by $5.3 billion. Meanwhile, vehicle loans, tuition, and other so-called revolving debt rose by around $5 billion. Overall, total credit outstanding fell by around $182 million after strong gains the 2 months prior. May's decline was the first one overall since 2024. Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the run my own business dream. This is the college is paid for dream. This is the retire early dream. This is Busey, where your dreams and possibilities become moments. Through trusted guidance and expertise, through lifelong relationships. Because we're here to help you achieve the life you've always envisioned. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Shaped by more than genetics. Everyday choices like nutrition, physical activity, sleep, tobacco use, and routine screenings all play a role in your future health. Seidman Cancer Center's Your Disease Risk helps you understand how family history and lifestyle work together, offering personalized insights to support healthier decisions. Knowing your risks today can help protect your tomorrow. Visit seidman.washu.edu/YDR.
You feel it every time you check out. Prices up, paychecks stretched, families squeezed. That's why Ann Wagner's fighting to get government off your back and out of your way. Wagner passed the largest tax cut in American history, expanded child tax credits, ended taxes on tips, overtime, and Social Security. And Wagner is working to lower costs so families keep more of their hard-earned money. But Ann Wagner knows delivering for Missouri means more than just protecting their wallets. It means protecting our streets as well. That's why Wagner fought to secure our border, deport dangerous illegal aliens, partner with law enforcement, and put predators behind bars and off our streets so our neighborhoods and communities stay safe. Because real effective leadership protects what matters most: your money, your family, your safety. Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. An elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots, he scores!
What would you like the power to do? Explore winning business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
It's 7:40. Roger Brand, how's it look? Overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's the busiest it's been, but it's not terrible, Tom. I mean, northbound 270, you've got slow traffic from 55 up to about the Sappington Road overpass. It bogs down again from 44 up to Manchester. After that, it's not so bad. If you're coming in from out west, still have this road work back up eastbound 70 east of Warrenton into the Wright City Rest area. Once you get past that point, eastbound 70 is a great run all the way into downtown. Southbound 61 down on eastbound 70 or eastbound 64 looks great out of St. Charles County. Eastbound 64 is a little slow. Clarkson midway into Timberlake, and it's now slowing as you approach 170 to about Big Bend. Westbound 64, Hampton out to Big Bend. You've got some volume there as well. We've got a slowdown on eastbound 44 right around Miraz and east of Big Bend there, right at the Grants Trail overpass, headed through Barry toward Elm. It's kind of off the pace on eastbound 44 as well. And on the Illinois side, seeing a little bit of a roadwork slowdown. Southbound 255 as you leave Godfrey. Westbound 64, Baugh to the 70 split, and then west of 3rd Street to the Poplars slow. And eastbound 5570, you've got that heavy spot just east of 111 briefly. But otherwise, again, the rest of these interstates continue to move along. Next update at 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Brought to you by Duke's Real Mayo.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about award-winning chefs. Yes, chef. And why they choose Duke's Mayo. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Oh, we don't have a snappy jingle to introduce AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, but we do have this nice music bed so you can tell us about the potential storm coming our way.
Yeah, it's slow-moving thunderstorms right now. We're getting into the Columbia area. Thunderstorms now with some downpours in the Jefferson City area. That's all moving eastward. So while we've had some sun to start the day, it's not going to last terribly long. We'll get up close to 90, but eventually we're going to have to pay homage to these thunderstorms. And when they come through, severe weather on the table this afternoon, particularly tonight. That includes flooding, downpours, of course, along with hail and damaging winds. 90 are high today, about 74 tonight. Clouds, some intervals of sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm tomorrow. It's going to be very, very humid. I mean, just a tropical air mass in place tomorrow, the high 85. Still humid Saturday with mostly cloudy skies and a shower and thunderstorm, the high 85. Then Sunday and Monday, the sun returns. It'll be very warm and humid, but both days pretty reasonable, I think, with upper 80s, which is typical for the middle of July. The heat, though, is going to build for the middle of next week. Right now, 76 at St. Peter's, 79 in Florissant, 79 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thank you, Joe. 742 Sports in 3 minutes. It's been a month since the partnership between the Florissant Police Department and a local nonprofit started on Thursdays. A staff member from the St. Louis Survivors Legal Support is now at the station every Thursday from 9 to noon to help victims and survivors of intimate partner violence fill out order of protection paperwork. Emma Remtula is the Director of Client Services for the St. Louis Survivors Legal Support and says the organization partners with many other organizations in the community, as well as 10 other police departments.
With the era that we live in, you hear a lot about people in the communities not trusting the police. And I think that this is a good way to bring the community and the police departments closer to show them that they are here to help.
Remtula says victims often need help filling out the over 10 pages of paperwork and finding legal representation, which they can also provide.
A movement by cannabis workers in Missouri to unionize is rolling forward. We get more from Dan Weinbaum.
As reported by the Missouri Independent, marijuana dispensary workers in Columbia unanimously ratified what appears to be the first collective bargaining agreement for cannabis workers, getting higher pay, paid vacation time. In St. Louis, post-harvest workers at Proper Brands won an election to unionize last week, and Vibe Cannabis post-harvest workers set to vote at the end of this month. Back in May, the National Labor Relations Board, which decides labor disputes and sets national policy on union organizing, rejected an argument that post-harvest workers are agricultural workers, which are excluded from unionizing, helping to pave the way for more attempts at unionizing across Missouri's cannabis industry.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says her office is reviewing complaints involving ESPN draft analyst Matt Miller that surfaced after a June 17th crash in southwest Missouri's Jasper County. The crash left him seriously injured. While Hanaway says there is sympathy for Miller's situation, she says in multiple complaints involving fantasy football leagues, camps, and charitable activities require a closer look.
Our hearts go out to Matt for this accident he's had and the ramifications, including an amputation. There have been, since the news of his accident, many more reports that have come into our office.
Hanaway confirms to MissouriNet that her office is reviewing complaints from people who say they paid entry fees for fantasy football leagues connected to Miller. They allege they later had trouble collecting winnings or verifying charitable donations. The Attorney General says anyone with relevant information should file a complaint as the investigation continues. The World Cup gets started again today. We'll tell you the schedule for the next few days coming up in just a moment. First and foremost, Cardinal baseball, and the Cardinals took on the Brewers yesterday. We had it for you as always on KMOX, and Jordan Walker started things off with a bang.
Walker swings and he hits a drive deep right center field to the track, to the wall, and the ball is down for a hit. Wynn scores. Walker's at second. The ball hit down in between Mitchell and Laura, and the Cardinals are on the board. Burleson rips it into right center field. That ball gets down. It's headed to the wall. Laura is chasing it down. Burleson has an RBI double against lefty Kyle Harrison. And I love 2-out RBIs. It's 2-0 Cardinals.
Jose Fermin hit a home run to make it 3-0 Cardinals in the fourth inning. And then in the sixth, look, we talk about Jordan Walker and the year he's had. Riley O'Brien is going to join him on the National League All-Star team. I know we've been touting J.J. Weatherholt and all that he's done at second base and should be on the All-Star team. How many people have been watching Alec Burleson this year? He has had a tremendous season at first base. Listen to this.
Here it is for Burleson. A swing and a long one. Right field. That ball is long gone. Burleson, a 2-run shot off a lefty. Jared Koenig. The Cardinals have extended their lead to 5-0. He hit that ball so hard it couldn't go foul.
John Rooney with the call in KMOX. Folks, Alec Burleson is 4th in the National League in RBIs. He has 66 RBIs on the season. He's also creeping up the list a little bit in home runs now with 15, tied with Freddie Freeman among first basemen right now. He has had a terrific season. As a matter of fact, if you look at his batting average as well, Burleson right now is hitting 277, a respectable season, second on the team to Walker's 294. But the big story yesterday, aside from my guy Luis Gastelum, who made his major league debut, it was great to see him pitch well in the 7th inning. Matt Pauley, this was about the birthday boy, and he came through with a big day for the Redbirds as the Cardinals absolutely needed it. What a performance.
It's well documented that Cardinals pitching is running on fumes heading into the All-Star break. The club gets exactly what they need, a start with length, as Michael McGreevy pitches them to a 5-1 victory over the Brewers. McGreevy pitches into the 7th, going 6 1/3 innings, allowing just 1 run on 5 hits. It's an understatement to say manager Oliver Marmol is pleased.
Made pitches and then was able to settle in and did a really nice job in the way he used the sinker. That was a good pitch for him. The cutter was good. He threw some much better sweepers too, so that was fun to see. But the overall mix was really good. Gave us exactly what we needed today. I mean, everybody has a pretty good idea as to where our pen is, and giving them a break was important.
McGreevy gets his first win in 2 months. He throws 6 or more innings, allowing 2 runs or fewer for a 13th time this season. That ties Philadelphia Phillies Cy Young Award candidate Christopher Sanchez for the Major League lead. At Busch Stadium, Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
CBS's John Rothstein reporting that it's a done deal. Indiana will host Missouri in college basketball on December 18th. At Assembly Hall in Bloomington, Indiana. Ins and Outs sponsored by Innsbruck Resort, where every day is the weekend. Boy, Innsbruck's great. 100 lakes, 7,500 acres. They continue to expand. Those numbers are going to go up, and that's big enough. 7,500 acres is like the size of a national park, some of the bigger parks in the country. It is a monster, and it's such a great place. Secure, fun place for the kids to enjoy a vacation, a summer vacation. Meeting Innsbruck for the first time. Oh man, a match made in heaven. It is heaven going through Innsbruck and finding your home. And once you do, settling in, filling that refrigerator with all the goodies, and then just relaxing, going down to the lake and throwing a line in the water, pulling that first fish. Wait till you see the look on the kids' faces when they catch their first fish at Innsbruck. Innsbruck's the best. Visit them online at innsbruck-resort.com. That is Innsbruck-resort.com. Let's take a look at the World Cup schedule. Norway and England will be playing on Saturday along with Argentina and Switzerland. That is going to be an incredible day. Friday, 2:00 for Spain and Belgium. And today, 3:00, the quarterfinals get going. France, everybody's favorite, against Morocco. That brings us to our parlay of the day, sponsored by Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be. Got to say that the favorite, France, right now is not the best play, in my opinion, because it doesn't really bring you that much value. You're looking for values here. So my parlay of the day is always going to bring you some value. And I think that if you wanted to take a run at the Netherlands, that might serve you well. I'm sorry, Norway is what I meant. Norway, that might serve you well. Norway's plus 1,600 to win the World Cup. Have a little fun with it. That's what I would do. France is plus 180. Circus Sports. Sports betting the way it should be.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circus Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circus Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circus Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX. Now the news at 1 the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:52, Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we're still slow on eastbound 70 east of 47 in Warrenton, most of the way into the Wright City Rest area. We had an incident eastbound 70 just before Highway K, so there's traffic congested at about Bryan Road because of that. East of the Blanchard into 270, it's slow. Eastbound 64, busy. Clarkson to Timberlake, midway in from Lindbergh through McKnight, that runs to Big Bend. Westbound 64, we had debris reported west of Hampton and delays approaching Hampton, but it's slow all the way to Hanley anyway. South 170 bogs down at the Parkway. South 270, just a brief slowdown through Olive. North 270 is a little busy at Tesson Ferry. Then 44 up through Manchester is the slow part. Eastbound 44, Barry to Elm, still a little volume there. Westbound 64 west of 3rd Street to the Poplar is slow on the Illinois side. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Chance of a thunderstorm this afternoon and this evening. Humid day, high 90, low 74. Tomorrow, a high of 85 with humidity and a chance of showers. It's 76 right now.
It is 7:53 and the news continues. A lawsuit filed by a social media influencer who says he was fired from his day job for criticizing Enterprise is now in the hands of a St. Louis circuit judge. Justin Krailman, known online as the Woke Ginger, worked for Food Outreach. Krailman posted a video in February criticizing Enterprise for renting vehicles to ICE agents and City SC for banning Black Lives Matter and trans pride flags at games.
Food Outreach has a member of the Taylor family on its board. Krailman's lawsuit cites Missouri law that prevents employers from firing workers due to their political beliefs. Food Outreach filed the motion to dismiss that a judge is currently considering.
A big payout for victims of a genetic database breach.
A U.S. bankruptcy judge in St. Louis has approved a nearly $47 million settlement for victims of the 23andMe data breach. KMOX legal analyst Brad Young says it's not the end for the company.
And in fact, California has an ongoing lawsuit separate from this bankruptcy action, alleging that 23andMe ignored known security risks, that they downplayed the breach after it happened, and that they failed to protect highly sensitive genetic data.
Roughly 7 million people were impacted by exposure of their personal information in that 2023 hack, including genetic code. 23andMe says fallout from that incident, competition, and declining demand for its product led to the bankruptcy. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
State Rep Kevin Schmidt is turning a legislative pay raise he voted against into helping children in the Metro East. The Millstadt Republican is donating his month's salary increase difference to the Twigs program, which provides summer meals for students in the Dupo, East Carondelet, and Cahokia Heights areas.
The Twigs program provides meals to children who may not have access to lunch during the summer months when school is out.
Schmidt has been donating his monthly salary raises since taking office. The Twigs program is distributing free lunches to children under 18 through July 29th at several community sites.
3 St. Louisans among the Emmy nominees announced yesterday. Sterling K. Brown, nominated twice for the Hulu show Paradise, one for Outstanding Actor in a Drama Series, and one as a producer of that show. He already has 14 Emmy nominations and 3 wins. Nikki Glazer got 2 Emmy nods, one for her work hosting the 83rd Golden Globe Awards and the other as executive producer on her comedy special, Good Girl.
Those are 2 names that we talk about and we know very well. You might not know as well Edwardsville native Laurie Metcalf of Roseanne fame, nominated for Outstanding Guest Actress in a Comedy Series for her role in the season finale of Hacks. This is Metcalf's 13th nomination and comes after she won a Tony Award earlier this year.
St. Louis representing. Also that, what is it? DTS St. Louis on HBO.
Yeah,
even
it
though
did well.
Even though it didn't actually get filmed in St. Louis, it got a bunch of nominations as well.
Your friends and neighbors, I heard, got a little.
Yes, it did. John Hamm did not get a nomination, but the show did.
Yeah,
So a
good
lot of
show.
St. Louis representation at the Emmys this
I
year.
got hooked on that show. It's 7:56.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
This summer, local events are happening all over the place, and i3 Broadband is a big part of it. At i3, we love being part of the neighborhood and are proud to support the events that make our communities great. We're also proud to deliver 100% fiber-to-home internet, recognized as Greater St. Louis's next-door neighborhood fave. We give you lightning-fast speeds and reliable performance. Head over to i3broadband.com/radio today or call 866-806-5485 to upgrade, because life runs better on fiber, and i3 Broadband is here for you.
Here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we still have the delays on eastbound Highway 70 east of 47 into the Wright City Rest area. They cleared that. It was a stall eastbound 70 before Highway K, but there's still a backup approaching Bryan Road. That should thin out pretty quickly, and then it's slow east of the Blanchette into 270. Eastbound 64, a little busy at Clarkson, but McKnight into Big Bend is still bogged down. Westbound 64, they cleared the debris past Hampton, but it's slow from the Science Center all the way to Hanley. South 170 delays at the Parkway. North 270, Big Bend through Doherty Ferry opens up before you get to Manchester. And on the Illinois side, westbound 5570 from 40, most of the way to 159 delays. Eastbound 5570 backed up through 111. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. A new round of airstrikes in the Middle East as Iran and the U.S. escalate tensions once again.
The president now back in Washington, where it is unclear exactly where negotiations stand. But what is clear is that this war that the president said would last 4 weeks is now in its 5th month, with strikes resuming, the ceasefire declared dead, no deal on eliminating Iran's nuclear program, and Iran continuing its threats.
ABC's Martha Raddatz. President Trump flying the older Air Force One out of Turkey on Wednesday from the NATO summit. Sources say the Secret Service urged him not to take the new Air Force One back due to different security capabilities in that plane, which was a gift from Qatar. Graham Plattner pulling his name from the ballot in Maine in the Senate race. He released a video message last night continuing to deny sexual assault allegations leveled against him by a former girlfriend. This is ABC News. Attorney Ben Crump is calling for a full, transparent investigation into the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells, who police suspect might have drowned while on vacation with friends on Horn Island in Mississippi.
We're trying to be very transparent because the family has some concerns about
the state of Mississippi doing an investigation of the death of a young black man where young white students may be looked at as having some culpability. So the family is concerned about that.
The family calling for its own autopsy into his death. Facebook and Instagram parent Meta says it will invest more than 13 billion Canadian dollars, about 9 billion US, toward building its first artificial intelligence data center in Canada. It'll be built in Alberta. Deloitte predicts back-to-school spending will drop about 6% this year. The consulting firm also says most consumers expect the U.S. economy to worsen over the next 6 months. Sherry Preston, ABC News.
At 8:02, we have sunny skies, 76 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Thursday, July 9th. I'm Megan Lynch. Governor Mike Kehoe rejecting calls to halt construction of new data centers in Missouri. Opponents, including bipartisan crowds who have packed city council and county commission meetings across the area, question how the massive facilities will impact local power grids. But Kehoe tells our sister station, KFTK, the state is already prepared to handle the energy demand.
Missouri was the first state in the nation to pass a bill called Senate Bill 4 last year that actually puts guardrails on energy use, who pays for it, making sure a large project, whether it's a data center, a widget manufacturer, or automotive assembly plant, those powers, the power that they need, is not passed on to the ratepayer.
Kehoe does note that approving new data centers remains a local decision. A man convicted of kidnapping and raping a woman in Collinsville will be sentenced today. 42-year-old Timothy Dubois was convicted in May after abducting a 21-year-old female from a Collinsville Starbucks at knife point in November of 2022. Dubois forced the victim to drive to Troy, Illinois, where he sexually assaulted her before driving her back to Collinsville. He's set to be sentenced this afternoon at 1:30 in Edwardsville. Investigators near Belleville still working to identify the remains of a child found in a rural part of Stuckey Township. St. Louis Police Lieutenant Colonel Renee Kreisman, conducting the briefing, says the St. Clair County Coroner's Office is now taking over that part of the case.
The remains have not been positively identified by the St. Clair County Coroner's Office. Due to the conditions of the remains, the St. Clair County Coroner's Office will conduct an autopsy to determine the official cause of death and to confirm a positive identification.
Kreisman says it's too early to talk about charges or any suspects in custody. Anyone with information asked to contact Crime Stoppers. There are calls for a more transparent investigation into the July 4th weekend shooting of 2 teenagers by police. Here's KMOX's Michael Calhoun.
The Ethical Society of Police, the trade organization representing black police officers in the city, says an officer fired multiple rounds into a car full of teens during a crowd that was throwing fireworks near police vehicles in Spanish Lake over the weekend. The union is questioning whether the car was moving toward or away from the officer when he fired. A boy and a girl were shot. They remained in the hospital to start the week. A third teenager was hit by broken glass and treated, released at the scene. The county prosecutor's office says it will review the case once police complete their investigation.
The city of Webster Groves taking legal action against a fireworks vendor who bailed just before the 4th of July. Councilmember Jamie Heismeyer says the company left many towns, not just Webster, scrambling.
At 1 p.m. on Wednesday, our fireworks vendor, AM Pyrotechnics, abruptly notified us that they were backing out. They also defaulted on dozens of other cities across Missouri and Arkansas, forcing many cities to have to cancel their celebrations entirely or to have to reschedule them for later dates. Not quite the same as having it on Independence Day.
She praises Webster Groves staff for finding a replacement vendor within 24 hours to keep the show on schedule. The city council voted unanimously this week to authorize a lawsuit against AM Pyrotechnics. Tonight, a Missouri city will revive a conversation about banning new apartment complexes.
O'Fallon first discussed the idea this past winter, but it ultimately came up short. Now the idea will be debated again tonight during the city council's work session. The idea is by establishing a 1-year ban on new apartments, the city could use that time to better understand the impact they have on traffic, infrastructure, and their schools. The ban would not impact new construction of single-family homes. It would also not stop projects that have already been given approval. St. Charles County recently passed a similar ban, but theirs only accounts for unincorporated parts of the county and is only for 6 months. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Louis City Schools held the first of community workshops last night, asking families to help shape a district-wide overhaul. But community advocate Gwendolyn Cogshell tells our news partners at Fox 2 the troubles start well beyond school buildings.
The reason that the community is declining is not because of the school district, it's because of the lack of economic development that hasn't happened in North St. Louis for the last 70 years.
District leaders point to declining enrollment, a projected $41 million deficit, and nearly 300 teacher vacancies as the forces driving that overhaul. 2 more workshops scheduled for later this month. Who will live in Soulard in 100 years? Neil Putz with the Soulard Restoration Group says Sunday they're burying a time capsule to be opened in 2126.
The contents include letters from neighborhood residents. We're using archival paper and pens to make sure that this will last for 100 years.
They're including photos of Soulard's people, places, and events. It will be buried at Soulard Station on Sunday around 3 p.m. Still ahead on Total Information AM. Is AI distorting what cosmetic surgery patients expect? We'll talk with a local cosmetic surgeon about that coming up after traffic and weather in 2 minutes here on KMOX.
Giddy up! It's the Cardinal Cowboy. Don't let garage door problems bench your summer plans. From repairs, tune-ups, and replacements, Renner Garage Door hits a grand slam every time. Score a free repair or replacement quote today, plus $100 off a new garage door. Featuring trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, Renner delivers the quality, reliability, and performance your home can count on. RennerDoorSTL.com. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
You work hard, follow the rules, and get absolutely slammed by taxes. Your paycheck taxed, your property taxed, everything you buy taxed. Missouri's tax system isn't broken, it's rigged against you. The lawyers and lobbyists working for big corporations and the super rich buried over 200 loopholes for themselves in our tax code. While they pay nothing on the services they use, working families are taxed over and over. It's no wonder they're lying about Amendment 5. Our corrupt tax system is rigged in their favor. They're getting a free ride on your back. Don't believe their lies. The truth is, Amendment 5 closes loopholes exploited by the super rich and slashes taxes paid by Missouri's working families, phasing out income taxes and cutting property taxes. They finally pay what they owe while you keep what you earn. Vote yes on Amendment 5. Paid for by Missouri Promise PAC.
It doesn't get any more iconic than the world-famous Budweiser Clydesdales. You've seen them in commercials. Of course, they're part of opening day in St. Louis. And how special is it that you can see these gentle giants up close and in person at their home in Soulard? Of course, I'm talking about the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. It's the home of Budweiser, and it's the home of our favorite horses, the Clydesdales. Check out the Clydesdale VIP experience. There's nothing quite like it, and there's nothing better than wrapping up your tour with an ice-cold Budweiser in the beer garden. BudweiserTours.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Total Information AM, the news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10. Let's see if there are any backups out there on the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got the road work back up, Megan, on eastbound Highway 70 east of Warrenton into the Wright City rest area, so be prepared for that. But after that, it's clear sailing all the way into downtown. A report of an overturned vehicle crash. They're calling out EMS just a moment ago for it. Sounds like it's on Piney Road at 61, so it's right near Highway P there, but I'm not seeing any delays on 61. That's the good news, but they are sending EMS to that. Eastbound 64 backs up McKnight to Big Bend. Westbound 64 solid jam Hampton out to Big Bend. We had an incident there. North 270 slow Doherty Ferry to Manchester. On the Illinois side, eastbound 64 a little bit of a backup as you get on to 5570. They have restricted lanes at Exchange due to road work there, and then you've got that delay eastbound as well, approaching 111 point just east of there. Westbound 5570 west of 40 midway to 159 is kind of slow right now as well. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Clouds and some sunshine today. Very warm and humid. Watch out for a shower and thunderstorm, though, during the afternoon hours. The high 90. In fact, thunderstorms late today and tonight could be severe. Warm and sticky with a couple of thunderstorms tonight. Damaging winds, hail, and flooding downpours all a possibility. The low tonight, 74. Clouds, limited sun, warm and quite humid tomorrow with a shower and thunderstorm, high 85. Saturday, mostly cloudy, sticky. A shower and thunderstorm left over, the high 85. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
More clouds and sun this morning, 78 degrees in Florissant, 80 in St. Peter's, 76 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. I saw an article this week about the increasing number of people who are using artificial intelligence and other online filters to show plastic surgeons what they want to look like. Some physicians are concerned that AI imaging is creating some pretty unrealistic expectations for those patients. With me now on the Quiver River Electric Guest Line is Dr. Herlif Lund, board-certified plastic surgeon at St. Louis Cosmetic Surgery. Dr. Lund, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Megan. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I am.
We are, and I'm glad you could join us this morning. I'm really curious to see if you feel like filters and AI manipulation of images is giving potential clients some pretty unrealistic expectations.
Well, yes, and the reality is, and the short answer, Megan, it is. The manipulation of all these images kind of has the potential to lead patients into believing sometimes the impossible is something that can be achieved, and it's really not possible. But, you know, in the world of plastic surgery, we've sort of been dealing with this for every generation. Back in the 1970s, 1980s, we had airbrushing, and in the 1990s and 2000s, we had variations of Photoshop, and now we have AI. I think the key differences here are that AI, anybody with a smartphone, anybody with a computer can generate thousands and thousands of these images. They can do it extremely quickly, and the resulting operations are really much harder for us to detect.
So have patients brought in AI-created images for you to consider?
Oh, yeah. Yes, they have. And I think this is something that more and more plastic surgeons are seeing than in the past. And this has to do, I think, with the fact that there's these sheer numbers of these manipulated images that are showing up in so many of these social media platforms that patients sometimes are overwhelmed. After a while, you just keep seeing more and more of these images. You believe this is realistic. These are normal, when in fact they're completely altered images. And that's why plastic surgeons are seeing more and more of these, which means more often we have to look at the patient and say, well, I'd like to be able to accomplish this, but let's talk reality.
What guidelines do you typically follow when you are counseling a client on what they want, but what's really possible?
Well, the number one rule is first listen to the patient. Let the patient tell you what they want. And you have to then be honest with them. I have to tell them what I believe I can do and can't do. You know, the patient comes to the plastic surgeon to get expertise in plastic surgery. They're not plastic surgeons. They're wanting you to give an opinion. And if I believe a patient is asking for something that's not realistic, or if I believe they're pursuing cosmetic surgery for potentially a wrong reason, it is absolutely my obligation to discuss that with them.
What's the reality of how far cosmetic surgery can really go in transforming someone's appearance?
Well, the vast majority of aesthetic patients are really just desiring to look good for the stage of life that they're in. They want to feel good about themselves and their interactions with others. They're not really looking for radical change, but there are exceptions to that. And certainly the number one we see these days is massive weight loss patients. They've already started a massive transformation of themselves by using some of the injectables, the GLP-1s and that. And our job as plastic surgeons is then to complete that radical change. So there are places where radical change does exist, where we have people coming in and say, I want to look like a leopard or something. And that actually is a well-known case from a few years back. That's the definitely outlier. And thank goodness most of the time we don't see that.
How do you counsel clients about what to expect after surgery?
Well, there really are two forms of recovery after surgery. There's the physical recovery, that's the part where your body's healing. And then there's the psychological part, which is sometimes the hurdle that some have to get over because you have to rediscover the new you. There's another person looking back at you when you look into the mirror. The other thing with AI has really been a problem with recovery for patients is they have unrealistic expectations of when they're going to be back to normal. Normally, cosmetic surgery takes a few weeks to months even to see your final result. When you see an image of someone who supposedly had a rhinoplasty done or supposedly had a abdominoplasty or mommy makeover done, and they're in a bikini in the swim pool at supposedly a week afterwards, or they're out partying and their nose doesn't have any swelling or anything. That's a suspicious image. So you have to, our staff and I counsel our patients when we see them asking, is this real? Give them tell them exactly what the recovery process is likely to be.
It sounds like your job is as much psychology as it is surgery.
Yeah, I think most plastic surgeons do feel a little bit at times like we're a psychiatrist. Again, when I'm looking at that, I always tell the patient, the most important thing here is I'm going to listen to you. I want to learn your motives. Are they appropriate, what you're looking to achieve? Having your nose altered is not going to change your life. It's not going to change, who you are. You're ultimately still going to be you. And so cosmetic surgery can make you feel better about yourself. And that's the important thing. But if the patient's giving me unrealistic expectations or they're doing it for wrong motives, then it's my job at that point to step in and say, let's talk about this on a different level than just simply what am I going to look like at the end.
Dr. Lund, are there any other takeaways you would offer to our audience if, for example, they are playing with AI to see what changes they might like and they are considering surgical changes to their appearance?
Yeah, there are a number of rules I would like to suggest. One, do your homework. And there are some very, very good websites and social media platforms. The Aesthetic Society is one of those. The American Society for Plastic Surgeons, ASPS, another one. These are sites that really do vet and make sure the results and the images you're seeing are realistic, so you don't go into this with an unrealistic expectation. Be realistic. Be honest with yourself about what you're wanting to achieve in your goals. This is one the patients are sometimes shy to do. If you have a question, ask. The only dumb question is the one you didn't ask. And then I guess another one of the most important things is when you're consulting with a plastic surgeon, make sure your plastic surgeon is board certified by the American Board of Plastic Surgery. That is the gold standard in plastic surgery. And there are other pseudo boards out there, but ask your plastic surgeon, are you board certified by the American Board of Plastic Surgery? And that should just tell you right off the bat, you're dealing with somebody who's gone through years of training to do what they're doing.
All right, Dr. Lund, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time and your perspective this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
You too. That is Dr. Herlif Lund, board certified plastic surgeon at St. Louis Cosmetic Surgery. Coming up on Total Information AM this hour, we're going to give you the latest on the hearings for the man accused in the killing of Charlie Kirk. Michael Calhoun will talk with ABC's Alex Stone. We're going to tell you why the NAACP is a little bit concerned about some of the proposals for data center rules in the city of St. Louis. And then don't call them tiny homes. Some Metro East communities have a new vision for dwellings that have a smaller footprint. We'll learn more coming up at 8:41 this morning. Let's learn more about what's happening on the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've got a pretty good run going for most folks, Megan, although we still have the road work back up on eastbound 70 east of 47 coming out of Warrenton into the Wright City Rest area. After that, you're good to go. Eastbound 64, that's still slow about, let's call it east of Lindbergh into Big Bend. South 170, slow south of the Parkway. Westbound 64 bogged down from the Science Center out through Hanley and on the Illinois side. The only real backup is eastbound 5570 approaching 111 on both sides of 111, really, and 64 is just a little slow approaching Exchange in that construction zone as well. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Thank you, Roger. And checking that forecast for today, we're going to be have a humid day today. Periods of clouds and sunshine with some heavy thunderstorms possible this afternoon. Expect a high of 90. Right now, clouds 76 downtown at the Arch.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Let's take a break.
Good idea.
Hey, Tom, what are you doing on that Amendment 4?
You know, we fought for our freedom and rights. I'm not giving them away without a fight.
4 takes them?
That's exactly what 4 does. For over 100 years, Missouri voters have used our constitutional power to act when the politicians refused. I'll be darned if I'm voting to pass on less freedom and power to my kids.
And doesn't 4 also kill majority rule?
Yup. Creates minority rule, or just 5% of the most liberal statewide voters in one Missouri congressional district that block any citizen-led reform. making it nearly impossible to pass common sense conservative citizen ballot measures.
That's crazy town stuff.
And we've needed our citizen ballot measure power to pass some big conservative stuff, like outlawing tax hikes without voter approval, lobbyist reforms, and term limits for career politicians.
No way I'm letting a tiny fraction of liberals derail our conservative power. I'm no on Amendment 4.
Hard no on 4.
Pay 4 buttons or inch prepare governance.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
As we continue on KMOX, Michael Calhoun with you, and we continue to follow the week-long preliminary hearing for the alleged killer of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. Tyler Robinson's defense attorneys have been trying to call into question the reliability of DNA results. Joining us right now is ABC News correspondent Alex Stone.
Yeah, well, and there are still more witnesses who are going to be called. This likely is going to go until late on Friday. The judge asked for an update saying, hey, give me some idea of how much you have left to go and how much testimony is left. And the attorneys have said probably by Friday night that they're going to be done. And the court really wants to be done by Friday night. But the final witnesses appear to be law enforcement officers based on what the attorneys are saying. There is a law enforcement officer still testifying who likely will be up into Thursday. That is an agent who he was the case agent running the investigation, and then another officer as well. And then the defense has indicated that they're going to call 2 ATF agents who are going to testify. A lot of the fighting, you mentioned on DNA, where we know DNA has come back. It did come back to Tyler Robinson and to his romantic partner and roommate on items that were found on scene. Not surprising that the both of them would be on there, that the items came from their home. Something from your home is probably going to have DNA from people who live in the home on it as well. But so they fought the reliability of the DNA. The other thing they're really fighting is video being played of his roommate allegedly told police that Tyler Robinson admitted to the crime in letters and text messages, and the defense does not want that to come out in court. And if it does come out in court, to not come out publicly in court to, they say, potentially taint a jury pool down the line. So that fighting is going on right now. Security very tight at the courthouse. I've seen sharpshooters, tactical teams all around based on what this case is about. The law enforcement is being very careful, covering windows of the courthouse that go to the outside, so nobody, a sniper shot couldn't get into them. Donald Trump Jr. has been in court this week. Erica Kirk every day. The motorcade bringing Tyler Robinson in has been an armored motorcade with Bearcat vehicles, armored vehicles, bringing him in and out of the courthouse. Very, very secure.
Does not seem like prosecutors are relying heavily either on forensic evidence or testimony. Seems like a pretty even split.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's been a lot of testimony. They've got around 50 pieces of evidence, some of them videos, and some of them very graphic. And the Kirk family gets up and walks out when the more graphic videos are being shown. And only the judge and the attorneys can see those videos. The judge has ruled the more graphic videos will not be shown to those in the courtroom or publicly. But they've only got to show the bare basic amount of evidence in a preliminary hearing. This is about just saying there is probable cause. The one, that a crime was committed, obviously it was, and the two, the defendant may have had something to do with it. This is not about proving it beyond a reasonable doubt. That is down the line when the judge no doubt will say that there is probable cause to move forward. It would be shocking if he didn't say that. And that a jury, and then it moves to the stage where a jury would decide. if Tyler Robinson is guilty or not guilty, probably many, many months down the road. We still don't know what he's going to plea. In many states, before a preliminary hearing, he would have entered a plea of guilty or not guilty. And if he said guilty, there would be no preliminary hearing and they would move right to sentencing. In Utah, they will do that after the preliminary hearing. So if he were to say guilty, there would be no trial. If he says not guilty, then it would move on to a trial after all of this.
ABC News correspondent Alex Stone has been in court in Provo, Utah, and we appreciate him getting us up to date on this. Thank you very much, Alex.
You got it. Thanks, Michael.
It is now 8:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And the match is about to begin.
Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight.
What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field.
It's a dog, but they could do with extra players.
She's going for the ball.
Are front paws hands or feet?
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Dr. Colleen Bosler with the Audiology Center, and I'm talking with my associate, Dr. Adam Voss. What happens to a person's brain when they ignore their hearing loss?
There is such a strong connection between the ear and the brain. Ignoring your hearing loss can cause the brain to become lazy and the speech areas in the brain to shrink. This is partially why you can hear the words, but you cannot understand them. If a hearing loss goes untreated for too long, it may cause an irreversible change in the brain. It is incredibly important to have your hearing screened at 60 or older, or sooner if you're noticing difficulty. And the sooner someone treats their hearing loss, the better and quicker their brain will adapt to hearing sound again. Studies show that those who get hearing aids, even with a mild hearing loss, are much more successful hearing aid users as compared to those that wait longer.
So call us today to get your comprehensive hearing evaluation with one of our doctors. 636-441-7470, or visit us online, theaudiologycenterstl.com.
Some shows are about sports. Some shows are about nothing. This one's kind of both.
So the show's not really a sports show per se. It's just a show. Glover here, we talk about whatever's happening, life, work, random stuff. And yeah, the Cardinals always find their way in. I'm a lifelong fan. Love going to the games, love supporting the team, and love hanging out with you guys.
The Dave Glover Show at 1, and then Cardinals baseball.
8:30, time for a check of the roads with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, if you're coming in on eastbound Highway 70, we still have the backup on eastbound 70 east of 47 into the Wright City Rest area. But after that, you're going to go all the way into downtown. Eastbound 64, the delays, slow traffic. It's not a jam, but it's slow from just east of Lindbergh all the way to Big Bend. Westbound 64 by Clayton Skinker out to Big Bend is heavy. On the Illinois side, we've just got that roadwork back up eastbound to 5570 approaching 111, and it opens up more, or not even quite midway into Black Lane. 255 coming out of Godfrey looks a little slow as well. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is going to be a muggy day today, a mix of clouds and sun, and a heavy thunderstorm is possible this afternoon, so stay with KMOX for the latest on any severe weather. A high today around 90 degrees. For tonight, more thunderstorms and showers possible, an overnight low of 74. We have 76 degrees now downtown at the Arch.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Mutual Insurance. Why pay full insurance when you can customize and save? Switch to Liberty Mutual and they'll customize your auto and home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Liberty, 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 liberty.
And the forecast is brought to you from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM on this Wednesday morning. The NAACP says St. Louis City's proposed data center regulations have flaws. Local NAACP President Adolphus Pruitt says the biggest flaw, it takes the power away from the people living closest to proposed facilities.
It does not give the residents whom these data centers can be located next to the ability to say yes or no, just like we do on a liquor license. You don't get to make that choice. I should get to make it as a property owner. Why not give me that choice when it comes to liquor stores, but you won't give me that choice when it comes to data centers?
Pruitt also argues future data centers should be required to fund job training and workforce development programs.
The city can't afford it, doesn't have the money for it, but data centers who basically can use that workforce, they do, and they should have paid for it.
And he contends the proposed rules make it too difficult to build a data center in the city. The Board of Aldermen plans to hold special sessions to vote on the bill during summer recess. It's 8:33. Your Money Report from Bloomberg coming up.
This year, America celebrates 250 years, 2.5 centuries of courage, sacrifice, and family stories passed down from one generation to the next. Hi, I'm Nick Mako.
And I'm Adam Baselogger, founders of Legacy Box. Your family's piece of the American story is sitting in an attic or closet right now, trapped on aging VHS tapes, camcorder tapes, film reels, and fading photos.
Those boxes hold moments you can never recreate. Your wedding day, your children's voices when they were little, grandparents coming back to life on screen.
Over 2 million families have trusted Legacy Box. And we've just partnered with the USO to digitize fragile handwritten letters from World War II, helping preserve American history for future generations.
As America turns 250, remember that your family is a part of the American story. Preserving those voices, faces, and moments is a part of your responsibility to the next generation. Don't let them disappear on your watch.
Visit legacybox.com/radio for our amazing America 250 sale. That's legacybox.com/radio to save.
Your Money Report now. It's sponsored by Eamon Gatner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Dan Schwartzman.
Porsche deliveries slumped 16% in the first half, dragged down in part by weak demand in North America and a decline in China. The luxury car maker saw sales dip to the lowest level since 2020. Porsche said one of the main reasons for the overall decline was the expiring of American tax incentives for electric and hybrid vehicles. Target is making changes in its strategy team, including eliminating some roles. That's according to a memo viewed by Bloomberg News. It's the latest move to simplify the retailer's structure and improve efficiency under a new CEO. Retailers should be concerned, as a new Deloitte survey shows that higher-income parents plan to reduce their back-to-school spending this year. Meanwhile, less wealthy families are trading down to cheaper products. Deloitte says that overall, back-to-school spending is expected to slip to $557 per child. Dan Schwartzman, Bloomberg Radio.
There's more ahead on Total Information AM. Some Metro East communities have a new vision for homes that have a smaller footprint. More on that at 8:41. And then at 8:51, West African cyber criminals preying on boys and young men on social media. We'll give you the latest from ABC News.
Bill, that's a big smile for an old politician.
I'm thinking about our plan. It's slick enough to make a lobbyist blush. First, we hoodwink voters with Amendment 5. Tell them it's a tax cut. Once they're hooked, we decide who pays the higher taxes.
So it's not a tax cut plan, and we don't get a say?
Right, just swaps who pays the tax, but it does remove 3 voter-passed taxpayer constitutional protections. That lets us levy new taxes on services, increase sales taxes, and even tax home sales. And voters will no longer get to vote on tax hikes.
Higher sales taxes on groceries, gas, service taxes on doctor visits, childcare, and even rent on apartments. Jeez. taxes could exceed 20%.
Sure, they figure that up to 80% of taxpayers will pay more taxes. Many, hundreds more. Seniors, they'll get hit even harder. But our big donors will cut a fat hog.
The ones getting butchered by Amendment 5 are most taxpayers. I'm voting no on 5.
Paid for by Missourians for fair taxation.
Residue carpet cleaner that leaves your carpets truly clean with no dirt attracting soaps or harsh chemicals. Don't risk it with the other guys and skip the do-it-yourself disasters that leave your carpets soaked for days. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet, 0 resified, starting at just $129. Call 314-474-2020, or you can book online at ZeroResSTL.com. Just ask for the DGS special at ZeroResSTL.com.
If you are looking for a place for independent living for older adults, the place is Fairwinds River's Edge in St. Charles. It was voted U.S. News and World Report's best independent living for 5 consecutive years. They have social events for the residents there, wellness programs. Just go to fairwindsriversedge.com. Schedule a tour and hear about all of the great new updated spaces, all the dining, the social events, the best. fairwindsriversedge.com.
The wait is over. The new Omaha Steak Store is now open in Baldwin at 15305 Manchester Road in Central Plaza. Shop now for 50% off store-wide and enjoy delicious doorbuster deals starting at just $19.99. For more than 100 years, Omaha Steaks has delivered the world's best steak experience. From extra-aged USDA-certified tender steaks to pure ground burgers, air-chilled chicken, premium pork, and so much more. Every bite is handcrafted by master butchers and backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee. Stop by the new Omaha Steak Store in Baldwin today to discover the Omaha Steaks difference.
And Doug.
Hot dog! Get your hot dog!
Customize and save with Liberty Mutual.
Hey, what are you doing?
I like your method. Direct. To the point. A little loud, but...
Listen, people don't buy car insurance the same way they do hot dogs.
Not yet, but both are customizable.
Popcorn! Get your popcorn!
Hey, this is a hot dog area.
And customize and save area. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local agent.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
All right, it's officially the most wonderful time of the year at Staples. They've got back-to-school supplies as low as 25 cents, up to 40% off select tech, 20% off for teachers, and more. Check out all the deals at staples.com/back-to-school. Staples, that was easy.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening with President Trump declaring the ceasefire agreement with Iran over. Gas prices on the rise again. Gas Buddy says the national average jumped 6 cents overnight. Facebook and Instagram parent Meta said Wednesday it will invest more than $9 billion to build its first artificial intelligence data center in Canada, its largest outside the U.S. And Welsh singer Bonnie Tyler has died at the age of 75. Her best-known song, Total Eclipse of the Heart. Let's check the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We still got our jam out on eastbound 70, Megan. This traffic report is a service of Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Eastbound 70 still jammed east of 47 into the Wright City Rest Area. It's worse now than it was earlier this morning, but it'll be busy probably most of the day. Eastbound 64, still a couple of slow spots east of Lindbergh, headed into Big Bend. McKnight to Big Bend's the primary delay. South 170 at the Parkway. Westbound 64, just a little slow at Big Bend. That doesn't look bad. And on the Illinois side, eastbound 5570, slow traffic both sides of 111, and it's also bogging down from 159 up to Route 40 over in the Troy area. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
For dependable, no-pressure home comfort solutions, turn to Huff Heating and Air Conditioning. Locally owned and family operated for over 40 years. Our team will work with you on a plan that fits your home's needs with financing available. And as always, your family's comfort is our family's business. Learn more at huffheating.com.
We could see some severe storms roll in this afternoon and hang around overnight as well. It will be muggy today with a mix of clouds and sun and still humid overnight. A high today around 90, a low tonight around 74, and then tomorrow considerably cloudy. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm possible with a high of 85. Right now we have cloudy skies, 79 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for joining me for Total Information AM here on KMOX. More Metro East communities are embracing homes with a much smaller footprint. Belleville just reversed a short-lived ordinance passed in July 24 that made it difficult to repair historic homes or construct new homes with under 1,000 square feet of living space. I learned more from Ron Diedrich, local government affairs director with Illinois Realtors.
Belleville is more than 200 years old. Belleville has a lot of smaller, irregular-shaped parcels, meaning they're much smaller in square footage versus newer places like in O'Fallon and Shiloh where newer homes have been built in recent years. So as a result, the 1,500 square foot home that is commonly built these days does not make sense in a Belleville, especially the older historic homes. So in some instances, you are going to need that smaller footprint in order to make it work. And with a number of the homes that are in Belleville that have maybe stood for 150 or maybe in a handful of instances, a couple hundred years, those are going to be smaller cottage type situations. They have old, historic, great character, good bones. But if in the event of a fire, tornado, those homes cannot be rebuilt. A lot of times when developers are looking at multifamily units, some of those multifamily units, especially efficiency apartments, are not going to be 800 square foot. So when you think about our senior population in terms of hopefully being able to let them age in the same zip code, some of the seniors that could have lived in Belleville, that could be in Belleville, could have been dissuaded from remaining in Belleville due to this ordinance. Because if a developer was going to come along, build a senior community, or think about some different modes of housing, having 800 square foot as a minimum starting point, that's not inviting for a developer to come in and be able to make that project pencil out.
So that ordinance now, I understand, has been reversed. And you mentioned to me before we started recording that Belleville is actually looking at kind of an overhaul of its zoning and building codes. What are some of the things that are being considered right now?
Yes. So Belleville is just getting started with the RFP process to look at redoing its zoning and building codes. And the real world implication of having modern zoning and building codes is twofold. Number one, when you redo your zoning maps, you hopefully have clearly articulated zoning districts. You don't have a lot of spot zoning where one parcel may be zoned an R1 and then two or three parcels down would be a business. You know, you're going to have some conformity. You're going to hopefully try to get things lined out. Unfortunately, the zoning code in Belleville dates back to the 1900s. I believe it's maybe the 60s or 70s was when the code was written and put forth. And then on the building code side, there's been a lot of changes in how we've built just in the last 25 years. So there's issues that have to be addressed in a building code in terms of modernizing it. Also, looking to modern efficiencies, looking to newer building materials that are being put in place nowadays, and then also allowing flexibility for developers and homeowners to be able to do their own work, because with their ability to do their own work, in some instances, be able to have predictability for builders and remodelers in the area. That's important because that will allow them to keep costs down, helping add to housing affordability, because that's one of the good things about Belleville is in comparison to a few other communities, there's still a lot of available affordable parcels, and the housing stock in Belleville is such that it's got a lot of good bones, but maybe it's just in need of updating. And a lot of those projects are still attainable, and Belleville is very much still affordable.
Ron, as I'm sure you're aware, in the city of St. Louis, for example, there's talk about the need for infill housing, especially because of the storms that blew through last year. What about in Belleville? Is there a need for infill housing on some of those smaller city lots?
Yes, and Belleville has had a infill program which they're modernizing and updating a little bit. to address, as we started off with one of your previous questions, those smaller irregular parcels. And that's what this repeal of this ordinance hopefully addresses, because, for instance, in a couple other communities like Edwardsville, and a couple others, there have been some pocket neighborhoods that have been started, and you have single family homes. That footprint that's physically on the dirt may only be 750 or 800 feet, but depending on whether they're built with a slab or built with a basement, most of them have second stories. So it's not as if you only have 750 feet of livable space. You actually have 1,500 foot of livable space. And a pocket neighborhood also adds to getting more doors in a community. It helps by adding doors, that helps add property tax base, because that's more doors that are subject to paying property taxes, and hopefully eases the burden for the existing residents, because more doors the better. If you have a slimming population in some communities, you still have to have fire and police and streets and sewer and water. Those have got to be paid for with property taxes. So reforms on zoning, building codes that make homes more affordable and are able to encourage developers and builders to start those homes with less impact, less cost and fees from the municipality, means all they hopefully have to worry about is the market on that land, and then dealing with the building costs.
What have you actually seen as far as how communities feel about housing with a smaller footprint?
It's a mixed bag depending on the zip code. What Illinois Realtors is trying to focus on are the ADUs. That's what's called an accessory dwelling unit. And so, for instance, what you see now is a lot of sometimes grandparents moving in with sons and daughters and potentially grandchildren if they still live at home. But maybe your parents are in their 70s but still very active, but yet they do not want the 2,500 square foot home that they raised you in, as a 30 or 40 something year old now. So they're saying if the kids own a property and that lot is appropriate, let's put up an ADU. And then what that does is, in these municipalities that are allowing of the ADUs, that's actually increasing your home value, your real estate value, because as those homes turn over that have ADUs, or homes that have larger parcels have the ability to do ADUs, you're now allowing multi-generational wealth to occur.
That is Ron Diedrich with Illinois Realtors.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's Tom Ackerman for the great company, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. 1926, a century of service. Here's to the garage door, the largest piece of moving equipment in our home. The garage door, sometimes we take it for granted. It goes up, it goes down. You just rely on it every single day to do what it does. Well, what if it doesn't someday? That would be a problem. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will keep your garage door reliable by checking it out. Just get it tuned up, make sure that it's running smoothly, and they can do it for any brand. You don't have to get it from them. Any brand of garage door, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis will take care of that for you. Same-day service, too. 314-781-5200. 314-781-5200. And don't be fooled by the imposters out there. There's only one Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the one with the red ribbon. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Chris Ranchi and Amy Marks Kors connect you with the people, places, and conversations that bring our community together.
And now you get to hear about poo-poo in a box from a firefighter.
No, come on.
The hammerhead worm. And you get to hear about car fires.
And sinkholes.
And sinkholes. I love our newsroom. I think they're doing a great job.
From neighborhood happenings to local heroes, from everyday challenges to unforgettable stories. Chris and Amy, weekdays from 9 to noon on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
From ABC News Tech Trends. Cars will be cruising around more cities without anyone behind the wheel soon. Self-driving car company Waymo now says it'll have cars driving around San Diego, Las Vegas, Tampa, and Denver without any human supervisors. They're joining 4 other cities where Waymo is already offering rides without a human at the wheel. Meta's Superintelligence Lab has unveiled its new image generation AI model called Muse Image. It can create images from scratch based on prompts or edit existing images within Meta AI. It'll also power tools across Meta's apps, like adding AI-powered effects in Instagram stories. And Google is out with a new tool of its own, helping you create video clips in a matter of seconds. Video Remix is making its way to the Create tab in Google Photos. You'll have to have a Google AI subscription, but with it, you can use a library of templates to reimagine your videos with effects like adding a watercolor filter, changing the lighting, or adding a background. With Tech Trends, Dave Packer, ABC News.
When pain starts to slow you down, BJC Healthcare and WashU Medicine orthopedic specialists are here to help. Nationally recognized leaders in orthopedics deliver care that's informed by research and personalized for you. From everyday aches to complex injuries and recovery, we're here to help you get back to doing what you love. Find an orthopedic specialist today. Visit bjc.org/orthopedics or call 314-362-9355.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
And you're back with Total Information AM here on 104.1 FM, KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. It's the fastest growing crime targeting children in North America, and the victims are boys and young men. Brad Garrett, ABC News crime and terrorism analyst, joins me now on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Good morning, Brad. Tell us about these sextortion scams that you are investigating.
So let's sort of set the stage here. A typical teenage boy goes online, goes to a social media site, like Snapchat or something like that, encounters an attractive female, starts interacting with her. Of course, he's not really interacting with a female, but he doesn't know that, who at some point then sends him explicit photographs of her, encouraging him to do the same thing, to send a photo back to her. If he does that, then he immediately is not dealing with her, but he's dealing with cyber criminals who then extort him and say, we're going to send these pictures of you to your school. We're going to put them out online. We're going to send them to your friends unless you pay us money. And so an extortion scheme then starts. Typically, these kids obviously don't have a lot of money. Excuse me. And at some point, they say, I don't have any more money. They said, you have to find it some way. And what happens is that there are a percentage of these kids that end up taking their own life over this. Some would ask, why would you target kids this young? Because they don't have a lot of money. I think these extortionists steal off of volume. I think this is really a huge problem number-wise, the number of kids that are approached. Now, the percentage that actually end up sending pictures is obviously a lot smaller than what's approached. But if you deal with volume every day, you could take in a lot of money.
Why do you think this crime is spreading so quickly?
Because I think the people who do this have spread the technique of how to do it quickly. there's an Intel analyst by the name of Paul Ratfoff who actually studied this, and he found that in looking at these types of extortions in Australia, in Europe, and other parts of the world, obviously including the U.S., that he found that the language and the words used in the extortion demand, including misspelled words, was the same, certainly suggesting that the cyber criminals have either sold or provided this technique to untold number of people. Because let's face it, if you're willing to do it, it wouldn't be that difficult to do. I think that's what drives up the numbers.
Brett, do you know which platforms they use most often to lure these kids in?
I think it depends on where you are. I mean, they may, if you start on one platform, they may then send you to a platform that is more encrypted to make it more difficult for law enforcement or somebody else to monitor. And so I think that's the typical scheme. And as I said earlier, I think the volume is what gets the money. And if you don't bite on it, they just move on to the next kid.
How often do victims come forward?
I think that number could be fairly high that don't come forward. The National Center for Missing Exploited Children would tell you that they get over 20,000 plus calls a year in reference to this kind of scheme. So, what does that translate into to victims? I don't know. All I'm suggesting is that this appears to be a huge operation, I think primarily based in West Africa. I hear a lot about Nigeria being a location for this. So the problem, Megan, is you're not going to be able to stop this. Can you slow it down? Can you protect your own kids? The answer is yes, if they'll listen to you.
All right, Brad, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take care.
That is Brad Garrett, ABC News crime and terrorism analyst, joining us this morning here on Total Information AM. Tomorrow, we'll get your travel advice from our KMOX travel expert, Peter Greenberg.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.